6:02 from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. Good morning. I'm Justin Hawkins. Three-time All-Pro defensive back Patrick Peterson officially announced his retirement after 13 seasons on Monday. He did so as a member of the Arizona Cardinals, where he was drafted by 5th overall back in 2011, and he spent his first 10 seasons in the NFL. And in hockey last night, the Nashville Predators fall 7-3 to the Utah Hockey Club at Bridgestone Arena. Ryan O'Reilly, Luke Evangelista, and Michael Bunting all scored for Nashville, while Clayton Keller of Utah led the way with 2 goals and 2 assists. The Predators will play their season finale tomorrow night at Bridgestone Arena against the Dallas Stars, with puck drop being at 7 p.m. And in the NBA, where the play-in games start tonight. In the East, the 7-seeded Orlando Magic host the 8-seeded Atlanta Hawks at 6:30. And in the West, the 7-seeded Golden State Warriors host the 8-seeded Memphis Grizzlies and Ja Morant, with tip-off set for 9 p.m. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you've got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
RKW 104.5 The Zone is brewed by Scooters Coffee on this Tuesday. A gorgeous day in the Music City and a gorgeous day to begin your morning with some scooters in your life. And those lives can continue at White House, Mount Juliet, Rivergate, Smyrna, and Brentwood. Download that Scooters Coffee mobile app today. Order ahead and save $2 off your first mobile order. How does Nico Iamaleava's next move impact college football? Even if you're not a Tennessee fan, what the quarterback in his camp does next will have ripple effects around the transfer portal in spring. We'll talk about that. Blind NFL draft resumes are back. We're talking running backs this morning. I think this is the hardest job that they have had, Ramon and Kayla, in guessing correctly the running backs that I've got for you. Jason Swain at 9:20. The Monday Roast moves to Tuesday on April the 15th. Crew in studio. Good morning. How we doing?
We're good, man. Pretty solid. Yesterday was a good day, man.
It was nice out there.
It was. Well, my timeline of weather was crazy. Oh, yeah, at the Governor's Club, it was beautiful. Okay?
But you're referring to something later.
No, just the weather. I went from, it was somewhat cool in the morning.
It was cold.
Got warmer. It was a Tennessee spring is what it was, essentially. By the time I got to the ballpark at 8 o'clock in Drake's Creek, it was back frigid.
Was it chilly?
Then, yeah, it got cold. It got cold on me. And I had on short. I changed out of the sweatshirt yesterday because it got hot.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw you tweet about it.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's like, you got to switch out of that thing.
I got hot. And then I go to the ballpark for Miles' game, and it's cold and windy, and I'm miserable. And then it starts lightning. So I was happy for the lightning.
Oh, dang, it lightened.
It did.
It did.
Lightning. It started last night, which ended the games, which was cool for me. And
oh yeah, I'm sure
it was about me in those moments right there. But it was. We had a full spectrum of weather yesterday, man. Shout out to this Tennessee weather is all I got to say.
I missed the lightning, I guess.
It was late night. It was a storm that came through pretty hard, pretty quick. Nothing crazy. It was. If you live downtown in an area that's like has some elevation, I'm sure the light show was beautiful.
Yeah, it was cool.
It was pretty cool. I'm so back and forth on if we want to do something in Metro, just because. Like, I like that
extra place downtown.
Thinking about this, huh?
No, for real. I really am.
That means you just need to pull the trigger.
But it don't really make no sense, but it does because I want to.
Exactly.
It's weird. By the way, I got a hell of a country playlist. I got baptized this weekend.
So Brett Hubbs set you up?
It was Brad and Phillip. Brad Willis and Phillip Noel. I ain't got the songs yet, but I got the artists that I was introduced to, okay?
Can you give us a few?
I got a whole list for you. You ready before we get going? All right, here we go.
Can I do breaking NFL news first?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Hell yeah. Let me put this play. Hey, look at this. Threw that phone to the side.
Let's start with breaking NFL news from the second the show started. Ian Rappaport of NFL Network reports that the Dolphins and 7-time Pro Bowl corner Jalen Ramsey are mutually set to explore trade options And it wouldn't be a surprise if he played elsewhere in 2025. The Nashville native is due $25.1 fully guaranteed this season. Could likely be parting ways.
25 guaranteed?
Makes sense.
Guaranteed?
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Fully guaranteed $25.1 million.
Don't let Philly do it. Okay, don't let
right?
Kansas City do it
Well,
at this
Philly
point.
has that kind of money for Jalen Ramsey.
No, for real.
This feels
right?
more like a Commanders kind of move that they could possibly make.
Oh, geez.
Rookie quarterback.
Team with a rookie quarterback
be real
entering into a window. But we'll see. They made a move for a corner there last year, too.
That makes, but if you can get Jalen Ramsey, at what cost, though, too? Like, we're talking about a 2 and a 4, a 2 and a 2 next year.
I was thinking a 3 and a 4, or maybe a 3 and a future 4,
this
to be honest
year?
with you. Like, what was the L'Jarius Sneed trade for the Titans?
A 3?
3 and a payday, too. A 3 and a payday. That was also
And he's
part
30, so Jalen Ramsey.
A 3 and a swap of sevenths.
I would still take Jalen Ramsey.
Oh, no, he's still good. I mean, he's still
I'm just
a
thinking
great
like
cornerback.
a guy like Joe Hayden that came to us when he was a little bit older. Like
I remember that.
When the elite ones are good, they usually got like a couple more left in the tank.
Yeah.
Jalen Ramsey last season played 17 games. He had 2 interceptions, 5 interceptions over the last 2 seasons, played 10 games in 2023. Last year was his first year not making the Pro Bowl since his rookie season in 2016. It's been remarkably consistent.
That's really elite, man. I've always respected him. He has an island for sure. Like as far as being able to blanket an inside side of the defense or an offense for that matter. It'd be fascinating too, just to paint this hypothetical because I like to do this from time to time. Had Will Levis hit last year, you be in a position to say, yeah, go get him.
Yes, you would. Bring Jalen home.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, we can't have that conversation right now.
No, we cannot.
No, we cannot. I mean, you could.
I bet you could get him for a 4.
You think?
Considering he's that expensive, I bet you could get Jalen Ramsey
It's
for
the
a 4.
price. You got it. Yeah, it's the price of negotiating.
Yeah, I mean, I think a 4 and maybe even like a swap of a 6 for a 7 or something like that allows the team to move up a little bit. But yeah, I think if you're dealing in this draft, I think you can get him for a 4.
Yeah, it's so cool, man. You saw him come into the league with Jacksonville and just turn into he's a gold jacket guy. He's a candidate for a gold jacket guy now.
100%.
Yeah, that's huge, man. Coming out of Brentwood Academy, correct, the Mundo? Will? Yep.
Class of 2013.
That's huge right there, man. Shout out to him. Haiti got out of the state to go to Florida State, but it paid off for him, man. That's all you can really ask for in that situation. He's a stud. If you got a competitive team and just a little bit of cap, you got to go get him. You have to go get a guy like him.
Absolutely. That's it. That's interesting news. I didn't know if I saw that one coming.
One of the most athletic human beings I have ever been around in person in my life.
Really?
The guy makes very difficult things look extremely easy.
Isn't it crazy to see those types of folks operate?
Yeah.
It's
They're just so
it's
good
unfair.
at everything.
Yeah.
It's truly unfair. Him in the long jump in high school.
Stop.
He still has the state record by a pretty wide margin. It was pretty wild, to be honest with you. I'm trying to look at what he jumped in the at FSU. Yeah, he got 4th at NCAA's indoor in 2015. He jumped 26 feet and 1 3/4 inch. He would have been probably a U.S. Olympian had he not gone full-time football.
Could have
Like
done
that.
it.
He is one of the few football players that could have very well been Olympians had they not just devoted their everything to football.
Yeah,
He's a good hooper, too.
Even more so than Tyreek Hill. He never played in high school, but he would pick up.
That's
I
what I was
Yeah.
I bet
He
he
was
could
great
jump out the
at
gym.
pickup. Yes.
I was like, you probably could just walk on the team.
In high school, we had a dunk contest at halftime of one of our games when I was in high school, and it was like him, Demontre Wade, who was a practice squad corner, played at Murray State for a little bit. Dawson Knox, I believe, was in there, and then Max Staver, I believe, was in there, former quarterback who played at Florida. Out of high school, I think was in that dunk contest as well. And the fact that at that time you had 4 current athletes who could all do a dunk contest was crazy. But yes, he could jump out of the gym, no doubt.
Speaking of the Bills and Dawson Knox, I talked with Daquan Jones real quick yesterday, who was golfing there.
Yeah.
And he used to play for the Titans. And I just asked him about the Bills organization because he's played for a couple different organizations now. And he says, the organization is kind of like, it is what it is. There's always drama in every organization. But he said the team is like the best team culture he's ever had. I was like, really? Because I just love every teammate of mine.
I think a lot of that has to do with Josh Allen, honestly.
Yeah.
Josh,
Yeah.
the quarterback.
He's that guy.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Because I was like, well, they got a quarter. He's like, Yeah.
Yeah. And the other part, too, is just like the culture of what they like embrace. Like that community embraces the Bills. So, like, you get baptized into certain like franchises.
Yeah.
When you walk into the city, it's like, oh, this is a little bit different right here. And of course, here's the other side. The Bills have been around for a long time. They've had the history of it, too. And I'm not going to even try to like compare it to where the Titans are because the Titans still are pretty young and just the history of what they're doing as a franchise. Where the Bills, you walk into her and you see, I mean, legend after legend, clip after clip, and you feel it in that city. That's one thing I liked about the drive up to Buffalo Stadium. Even as a player, you see the fans middle fingers and cussing you out and throwing
Shaking the
stuff.
buses.
Like, yeah, man. And you literally have to go through a neighborhood to get to their stadium.
I'd love to go visit that
It's
stadium.
beautiful, Kayla.
Take a coat.
Yeah, take a coat. Hey,
my Montana
from
gear.
October on, take a coat. Like legitimately.
I don't know how
Back
people
to
do it.
layers.
Yeah, gotta layer up, man.
So anyway, there you go. That's the breaking news this morning that Jalen Ramsey of the Dolphins expected to seek a trade for the Nashville native. And as Ramon said, walking gold jacket. He is the real deal.
I will also say, too, I'm somewhat glad that right now for a guy like him, like we don't have the opportunity to have that conversation. Like, go get Jalen. Because it's just one of those fairy tale moments where you love to make it happen, but it's hard to make it happen considering you have Legarius here and the Tennessee Connect would be phenomenal. It would. But, like, imagine if Levis had a hit. That's a strong conversation to be had.
Imagine Malik Willis had hit.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
We go down the line.
Yeah, we can go down the
Or
line.
if Ryan Tannehill was still mobile, could still run.
I mean, Joe Flacco's still making it happen.
Yeah, I know.
You think Ryan will come out and be back up in Minnesota this year?
Tannehill, it feels like that was an agent-driven thing.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if y'all gonna play,
Right,
if
he's
y'all gonna
done.
play Flacco, I got a guy for you.
I think he's just waiting for somebody to get hurt again in the right position.
Right.
Has he submitted this? Well, I don't know. Like,
Because he hasn't officially retired.
yeah, he hasn't. But like, if you're out a year, more times than not, like you'll get that severance check, and it's just like, oh yeah, I guess I am retired.
All right, Ramon, who's on your playlist?
Oh, yeah. That's
Now that we've
right.
done
Playlist.
business, done our jobs this morning. Your country playlist.
Garth Brooks is on there. I heard
course.
a
What
lot
songs?
of new stuff. Friends in Low Places. I sang that real loud.
yeah.
Okay? Somewhat
Karaoke.
learning the words of that one right now. Kenny Chesney was on there. Now,
Yeah.
here's where my new people come into. I throw Stapleton out there. That's an old
Chris
guy that I
Stapleton.
listen to.
Yeah.
Travis Tritt.
Yeah. That's an oldie, but a goodie.
That was a goodie. George Strait.
Of course.
Got that one. Eric Church.
Oh, love Eric Church.
Yes.
Love Eric Church.
David Allen Coe.
There you go.
Oh,
now we're
look at
cooking.
you.
Now this
Now we're
next
getting
one,
into the
this
nitty-gritty.
next one's gonna get you. Ronnie Millsap.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Ronnie
Absolutely.
Millsap.
Yeah, Jason Aldean
Of course.
was in that conversation, and Brooks and Dunn.
I love Brooks and Dunn.
It was solid.
That's a good list of
I think
artists.
it's David Allen Coe got a banger of a song, man. I kept playing it over. Y'all want to hear what it is?
Yeah.
It's
We'll do that next. 615-737-1045 is
Maybe Justin
our
can
number.
play
Nico
maybe he'll
Iamaleava's
play it.
decision for where he goes next could have ripple effects to college football. We'll tell you why as well next. What's up? It's Will Bowling. Is your home's air conditioning ready to keep up with the warmer months ahead? Our friends at Lee Company have you covered. One of their expert technicians will perform a 22-point inspection as well as seasonal cleaning and maintenance to help you stay ahead of Mother Nature. And right now, enjoy $30 off your next air conditioning visit. Don't let your AC fail this spring and summer. Head to LeeCompany.com to schedule your appointment today and get $30 off. Hey, here in Middle Tennessee, it does not stay moderately warm for very long. You know, we'll be in summer temperatures before you know it. You got to make sure your AC unit is ready before that next big heat wave hits here in Middle Tennessee. So enjoy $30 off your next air conditioning visit with Lee Company. And you can call them at 615-567-1000 or head online to LeeCompany.com. Get $30 off at 615-567-1000. Lee Company, all you need. It's RKW 104.5, The Zone, brewed by Scooters Coffee. A great day to be alive in the Music City. Ramon Foster learning about country music. Us learning about Nico Iamaleava's next move. 615-737-1045 is the number. No, we didn't get to take a ton of your calls yesterday, considering our very busy schedule out in Brentwood at the golf tournament benefiting Fund Recovery. So we've got a lot of time to do that this morning. 615-737-1045. So On 3 has got rumblings on what's next for Nico. North Carolina is out of the mix for Nico Iamaleava.
Yep.
Did not know that
North
one.
Carolina.
That's
They are
been the
going
front
to
runner.
add South Alabama transfer Gio Lopez, the lefty. Always good to see a lefty succeed in this world. ESPN reported last week that before the winter portal closed, of course, Iamaleava's reps wanted to see his deal up to the $4 million range, and again before the spring window opened. On 3 reported last week, Iamaleava's current deal at Tennessee was somewhere between $2.2 and $2.5 million. Both figures are more than North Carolina wanted to spend. Plus, the Tar Heels are now going with Lopez, who is cheaper, and they feel like a better fit for their budget and for what they want with their team. So, 2 schools remain, guys, according to On 3. UCLA and Tulane, the 2 suitors for Nico Iamaleava. Thoughts on this?
Thoughts. My initial one was that Bill Belichick model that he used in New England. They kept the entire roster for the most part cheap. They paid a lot on defense from time to time. But think about Tom Brady, right? Tom Brady was never the highest paid player on his teams because they believed in, hey, more weapons and bigger defense, bigger special teams is always going to be philosophy. I did think they would be somewhat of the front runner considering it's ACC or that is folks who want to go there. It being Tulane or UCLA is, I think they're in the same conversation. UCLA may, depending upon, what they want to do as a school, right? They may want to spend a little money, but where were they last year in the Big Ten? I mean, they're towards the bottom.
They're not good.
And if they are trying to force feed Nico to UCLA, that's asking a lot. I look at this, and I don't want to say they overplayed their hand because I want to see this thing kind of unfold a little bit more. But to be looking for money this time of the year, when you look at the team dynamic of where the locker room has grinded together, the offense is in already, and imagine somebody coming in, taking over your starter that just finished spring ball. And not just that, but he's also asking for $4 million. Heck, screw that. He's asking for $3 million. Let's say you knock it down a little bit. It breaks up the team a little bit too much, the flow of what everybody's doing. And then I know somebody that went to Tulane for a little bit. They left. There's not much there as far as opportunity, as far as money.
It's the top of the G5, but it's not it's not a power 4 budget or team.
And this is the budget for me.
And he could probably get more there than anywhere else, to be honest with you. But, yeah, it doesn't look good for Nico right now.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. In terms of North Carolina, I know they were tied to Nico Iamaleava. And like you said, Bill Belichick, when it's all said and done, and they've got Michael Lombardi as the GM there, too. They're going to be smart. I know that he's the hot commodity out there now. Or so, some might think that. But really, when you think about that, if they decided to go in a different direction with South Alabama's quarterback instead, Gio Lopez, his numbers aren't crazy different, right? If you look at him compared to Nico Iamaleava, it's pretty much about the same in terms of last year's production. Like Will said, though, he's just a little bit cheaper, and they think they can fit him in that system better. Also, they probably don't have to deal with all the other stuff that's going along with Nico Iamaleava's camp right now. Yeah. I think that's the other bad thing about it. There's so much drama surrounding this young man that there's a lot of schools that are like, we're going to stay away with that from that if there's another option. Plus, we just don't want to pay that money. I personally think UCLA is the school that is going to make the move. And I say that because I think Tulane has money. There's a lot of wealthy donors there at Tulane. But I think that Nico Iamaleava, because that family controls so much of it, specifically Nick Iamaleava, I think the West Coast is where he's going to land. Maybe they get a little bit of a hometown California deal when it comes to UCLA and Nico Iamaleava, because I don't know if they're going to have much else of a choice of where he can go. Deshaun Foster's the coach there. He's in his second year.
Yeah,
He's
I
a
do
former
remember that.
UCLA
Yep.
player. I've heard that the players really like this guy as well. So maybe, that's an attraction, a younger head coach that is still trying to develop this program, and they'll spend a little money to get their quarterback to maybe elevate a team that's really struggling right now in the Big Ten after year one.
Yeah, 5-7 last year, UCLA. It's funny, his brother Madden was originally committed to UCLA and flipped last December.
Where'd he flip to?
Arkansas.
Okay.
And he did that. I'm looking at his timeline,
Yeah.
December 4th, like right before signing day of last year.
Interesting.
What's fascinating, too, I'm never going to tell a parent how to parent. Heck, I won't tell a dog parent how to dog parent, okay? Like, you do what you want to with your control. But it's fascinating looking at Madden's Iamaleava timeline also. His last year in high school was deemed ineligible also. He transferred from what the article is saying from I'm pulling it up real quick, from Warren High School to Long Beach Poly for the rest of his senior year. He couldn't compete that last year. The decision was effective October 1st until October 1st of this year. He can't play even if he wants to right now. So there's a lot of when you look at the decision making and just transferring and everything surrounding, like, I'm not going to paint Nick Iamaleava as a bad guy, but like, I said this yesterday, when you live in that world with those folks that have done this their entire lives, I sound country as hell right there, their entire lives. when they've lived like this their entire lives, you can't walk in with your product, i.e. your athletes, and say, we're forcing you to do these types of things. And I feel like that's somewhat has happened as of late. You did it once, were you able to do it once with Nico, and you broke the internet, right? And the whole NIL model that they have. You just can't get too high on yourself to believing that you are the chosen one to do these types of things. I hope it works out best for both of them, but seeing that his younger son also was ineligible, it just gives a little bit more context to Nico's situation right now.
The reporting on Tulane says from On3, another program that could be open to taking Iamaleava is Tulane. The Green Wave are still trying to identify their starting quarterback for the season, with TJ Finley suspended and head coach John Summerall open to evaluating the spring transfer quarterback market. Summerall is open to adding Iamaleava and has started to kick the tires on the Tennessee transfer quarterback. I heard Josh Pate yesterday on the Next Round Live down in Birmingham say that there are coaches who feel like this situation is radioactive, saying this is a distraction to our team. This is a guy whose camp could divide our locker room. There is a lot more than just the quarterbacking ability of Nico Iamaleava at play here. And this is where I think the whole situation has ripple effects around college football. It is the most public example of a player in a camp overplaying their hands. And if Nico Iamaleava has to settle for UCLA or Tulane after asking Tennessee for more money, you would imagine that at the very least, he's not getting the $4 million that he wants. I don't think there is a bidding market for Nico that him and his camp hoped that would have resulted in him getting $4 million. This is a cautionary tale to athletes who are going to try to pull this same thing in the future. And I think this could be a major shift in coaches, in teams, in general managers of college football teams getting control back. Getting a little bit of, you really want to come to my office right now and look at money? Look what happened to Nico.
Yeah.
You want that to happen to you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no doubt about it, Will. I mean, you're right on. And I said this yesterday with Tennessee. And I know there's other places like Georgia who have done that where they said, walk. But this is definitely more publicized. I mean, this is the whole country talking about it. Not just local stations, not just
Shannon
college.
Sharp gave his take
I mean,
first take.
This is national.
Good, respectfully.
Yeah. Right. And so everyone wants in on this conversation. Unfortunately, I don't think it's all Nico. I really think a lot of it was, what's around him who is making the ultimate decision. So I think some of it is unfairly going to be directed just at him as a young man.
I don't even think it's mostly Nico. I think it's mostly the people around him doing all of this.
And so unfortunately, though, he's going to be made an example, is what I'm trying to say.
Know what this feels like?
Tennessee had to do it, though.
It feels like Maurice Claret.
Yeah.
Trying to buck the system of the NFL. Like, you may get where you want to, but, like, what is it going to do as far as diminishing your future a little bit moving forward? Like, that's what this a little bit feels like to me, is this Maurice Claret, the first version of this in NIL. What I also found out yesterday listening to 3HL was this. Speaking of, like, contracts and just how this is all worked out, apparently from Chris Lowe, Walter Nolan had to pay back money to A&M before going to Ole Miss, too. There's ways to get around this. There are ways to actually do this, I guess, in a contract fashion. And can you? And then the other part of it is with Nico, as far as like the money being paid out and asking for more too, is how much was already being paid. Let's say his deal was 8 point whatever it was,
right?
And he had got 90% of that already.
You're right.
If he got close to $6 or $7 million of that deal, and he comes to you asking for a little bit more. At that point, have the results of what he's done on campus made you want to pay him that? Had he beat Ohio State, would this be a conversation, Will? Like, no, in my opinion. I don't think so.
Yeah, I think you probably would have paid him had he gone to Columbus and led a win against the Buckeyes,
Yeah, you'd have paid him. And that's where a lot of this in sports, like, you get what you earn a lot of the times or what you're projected to do.
Right.
And maybe, just maybe, he didn't, like, their situation in UT didn't feel comfortable giving him that.
And that's okay.
From the surface level, it feels like Tennessee, the one thing they could have done to prevent all of this is get a deal done in December. But it's hard to know even when they were approached with the deal, because the reporting from VolQuest, the reporting from A to Z Sports, all says that every time Nico's camp wanted a new deal, it was at the buzzer. It was trying to have as much leverage in their back pocket as they possibly could. And that is where his camp really messed up on the timing of this. There are a lot of other places that would have loved to be interested in Nico Iamaleava had he just done this in December.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like Bubba and Dixon mentioned, like, why isn't Colorado interested? Well, Colorado's full now. They got Julian Lewis, the 5-star freshman, and they got Caden Salter, the guy who started his career at Tennessee, who ended up at Liberty with Hugh Freeze before Hugh left for Auburn, obviously, and he's played himself into a big Power 4 job now. In Caden Salter, and that's another guy Tennessee would have been interested in.
Yeah,
considering if there wasn't the off-field stuff that happened earlier in his career, but that is where everyone loses in this is the timing of it and how, to me, sparse the transfer portal is at quarterback right now. Now that being said, the transfer portal is starting to pop off a little bit more this spring, and it's going to have more good starting caliber players in it this year than it did last year. Jaden Ott, the Cal running back yesterday, into the transfer portal. He is ought to go. And he's ought to go to Oklahoma is what it sounds like.
Dang, they're stacking up over there.
So it's really interesting. To me, the interesting part of all of this for Tennessee is still just how they decide to redistribute this money.
Yeah.
Is it in more weapons for Jake Merklinger? Can Tennessee attract a Power 4 starting quarterback right now? Yes or no?
Yes.
No.
Or not? Yeah. Power 4.
Yeah.
I think so. Just because Iamaleava left and the timing was not good in the whole situation, I think that actually makes Tennessee in a way look better because it's like, okay, there's nothing wrong with what we currently have. I mean, we're a team that's, we're still trying to get to that national championship level, but we're building together. It seems like everybody is always on the same page for the most part in terms of players. We've talked about that culture in the past. This is the first thing that we've really seen something wild like this happen, but it's big time money and it's the quarterback and all that goes along with it. So I think there's a lot of players right now that are quarterbacks specifically that might look at this situation like, I could really help elevate the Tennessee Volunteers at this point. Josh Heupel, quarterback type of coach. Now, whether or not they want to come to a system where I think there's still questions about if that can translate to the next level, maybe is still a question here. But you've got parts. You've got a defense, and it's the SEC.
Yeah. I don't think a sitting starter per se, like, and it depends too on what level. Like we're talking about UCLA quarterback coming into the SEC, probably different conversation.
Talking about an Avery Johnson or even a Sam Levitt type.
I would say no. And also for this reason too, I don't know if the agents want to play this burn game with the coaches too. I think the business of how they do transactions in the spring right now is a little bit different than when they do it in the fall. And that's my only take on it too. I look at it and say, well, one, does Heupel want to be also the one that's stealing from another university?
That's where this really gets. That's a great point.
You think he does?
Because it's like, what else do you have?
If he does that, he'll a little bit more savage than I give him credit for. I'll be completely honest with you.
I mean, you got to do what you got to do at this point.
Do have
it's
to.
a game, right?
It's so
choice
crazy.
for
Nico to leave.
Yeah, you do have to do what you have to in that situation. I just look and it seems like to me these coaches have gotten to a point to where if you respect mine, I respect yours now. It seems to me there was more coach conversation than in this scenario than any other one that popped up this year. And if the NCAA ain't going to do anything, it seems to me the coaches are going to be the ones that have to, like, shut this down. And
it's like now, okay, you said that, right? You got the Dan Lannings, you got the Mario Cristobal's that are saying all this. So let's see then if they're going to say this. And actually, are you going to stick to that?
Are they going to act on it? Right. Yes, I'm with you. It's just my philosophy on this.
I get it.
The integrity of them doing their jobs. Like, it's hard already.
I don't think they could attract a top of Power 4 quarterback. I don't think Avery Johnson's leaving. I don't think Sam Levitt is leaving. I think those are pipe dreams for Tennessee fans at this point. I do think a G5 starting quarterback is on the table, or a bottom of Power 4 starting quarterback. We're talking about, the Wake Forest of the world. And again, I'm not giving you any intel that they're interested in the Wake Forest quarterback. I'm just saying that I think there is maybe a food chain here that once you get far enough down it, it's maybe a different conversation. I'm looking at guys who just lost quarterback battles this spring. And that is not as much of a negative as maybe it will sound at the surface level. Because again, like Will Howard was kind of not really, they didn't really try to keep him around last year, Will Howard at Kansas State, because they wanted Avery Johnson. Avery Johnson was their guy, a local guy that, Will Howard wanted to enter the portal. Like, yeah, would they have loved to have him? Probably. Did they really try to keep him? I don't think that they did. One of those kinds of situations to where there is a natural transfer of power happening based off of something that has happened in spring practice. I think the other issue with that is, though, some of the guys that could be in that mix are SEC quarterbacks that you recruited in high school, and those guys are not eligible to come to your program. So I have no idea what's going to happen still. I would argue that I think a transfer quarterback is more likely to be your week 1 starter than Jake Merklinger is. That is my guess. I think they will get someone with the war chest that they have. I would be surprised if Jake Merklinger is the week 1 starting quarterback.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter one way, I guess, or the other in December, but that also means Jake Merklinger's gone.
Maybe. I mean, we don't know what happens over the full season. Like, if the new transfer quarterback comes in and stinks the way Joe Milton did, then the incumbent, Jake Merklinger, could step in and light it up, which is what Hendon Hooker did. Because they brought in Joe after spring, Heupel's first season. And Hendon Hooker was still there, and obviously we know what happened, and Hendon took over and was a Heisman finalist the next year, or should have been.
Yeah.
We'll get to your phone calls next. 615-737-1045. What was your David Allen Coe song?
Oh,
that you had on your list?
Houston Solution.
Houston Solution.
Banger.
I want to hear it now.
It drops Nashville in there, too.
Coming up, we will get to your phone calls on Nico, 615-737-1045. And you got to hear what Rory McIlroy's lifelong friend and caddy told him before the playoff hole, before he won the Masters the other day. We'll do that as well next. RKW 1045, The Zone is brewed by Scooters Coffee. Download the Scooters Coffee mobile app today to order ahead and save $2 off your first mobile order on a Twang Tuesday. 615-737-1045 is our number. Micah in Nolensville wants to talk about Nico Iamaleava. Hey, Micah.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. So I think as ball fans, I don't blame Nico for, asking for money, but the skipping practice part is where I think his camp sort of played it wrong. And then I think transferring hurts Nico, I think, a little more than the balls because he doesn't have as many teams interested in him. He's probably not even going to get that money he was asking for. Who knows what he's even going to get if he goes to a team like Tulane or something like that. And I think Josh Heupel kind of made the right decision to step up. He was skipping practices, and I think it was a hard decision, but I think that's a decision you have to make if you're Josh Heupel. And I think the Vols will be okay without him. It's a big loss, but it's, I think, honestly, a bigger loss for Nico and his camp. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you, Micah. It brings up a great question. Who is the bigger loser in this, Nico or Tennessee?
I think we still have to wait a little bit to know. And I only say that because we need to know how things shake out for Tennessee and their starting quarterback this year, because that's a lot, right? I mean, you need to know who your quarterback is entering the season. But also, if they hit on that or something works out with one of the backups, they win. And because if Nico goes somewhere and doesn't get that money, with right now it looks like he's not going to get that money, and you go to a place like UCLA or Tulane, no offense, and maybe they can have great seasons. I just don't know if it can be to the caliber that it would be if you're playing in the SEC at a university like this and still making pretty good money.
To be honest with you, I'll go immediate reaction. I think Nico's the biggest loser.
100%.
Yeah.
He has no control.
100%.
And that sucks. And it's for that reason right there. Like the entity of Tennessee or any university still survives. Right? It's going to dip like the stock market, but it still survives. So they're going to have a season. They're going to play all this. They're going to find a guy, and they got everything that they need established, right, as far as what they need. What Nico doesn't know right now is what team he's going to go to, what offense he's going into, also what his teammates are, all the questions that allegedly they had about Tennessee. Go get them more linemen. Go get them more wide receivers. All of those types of things. He doesn't know that. Specifically going to a place like Tulane, right, or UCLA, like the bottom of the barrel in their university, too. And then, okay, all right, let's say if he gets some money, Caleb, let's go to Cali. There's one place I hated playing.
Uncle Sam will take that away from you.
And plus the 13
the
state.
Texas, yeah.
Yeah, the state. So we're talking about if he's getting seven figures, he's at the highest threshold as far as taxes go. I think the tax threshold right now is 37, 39% at that level, plus 13 more. That's 50% of his check almost gone before he even pay his agent himself.
And that's the other thing. He's paying out a lot of people,
Yeah.
when it comes to that.
What $1 million is in Cali.
It's not a lot.
Mike makes really the point on YouTube and says there was no media outrage when Carson Beck left the most successful program in recent history for money. Well, that's because that's a completely different situation. Mm-hmm. Carson Beck was not retained by Georgia because they weren't super desperate to keep him.
Right.
I think they were ready to move on, and Carson Beck moved on while Georgia still had time to get other guys in with an entire spring portal, with all of these things. So I don't think that is the same situation. And for an older guy at the end of his career versus a younger guy who is now leaving his team out to dry a little.
He was also still contemplating entering the draft. Carson Beck was.
It's just not the same thing.
And I think Miami overpaid him. I don't think he's that good, but that's their decision.
But the other side, too, of Carson Beck that's different from Nico is this. Carson Beck, say what you want to or not, has the championship. He has the proof of concept, right?
Yeah.
He got that.
He's done it before.
He does.
He's done it before.
Nico still hasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Out of California, $1 million, you take home $477.
Yep. Half of it.
It's a little bit of a different situation.
And prices for everything else up there.
I think Nico is by far the bigger loser in this because Josh Heupel has proven that he can take a lesser quarterback and turn them into Hendon Hooker. Mm-hmm. I mean, Hendon Hooker, when he took over at Tennessee, was not much. He was a Jeremy Pruitt commit.
Yep. And that's the thing about it, though, too. And not just that, but the fact that those guys are still in the league right now. Joe Milton has been traded for. And with another opportunity and given the ability to say what you want to about the offense, and it does matter. But those guys are still in the league with jobs. And that, to me, I think is the ultimate goal, on top of also getting paid at Tennessee, too. Like, there was a better pathway to do this. In my opinion, I thought he should have played this year out, taken the money he was supposed to get, and then hit the portal in the fall. If he hits the portal in December this year, his price is up big time.
Yeah.
No matter what, I think.
Carson Beck was a backup, by the way, on that national championship team.
He was? Okay. Yeah, that's right. It was, what's his name?
Stetson Bennett.
But there's a difference. I ain't gonna but he was part of the process. You believe in what a guy like him can
he'd been
bring
around
you.
enough.
Yeah.
The point is still the same.
Yeah.
With Nico, too, wherever he lands, guys, it is going to take a minute to fit in, too. I mean, there's a lot that's he's carrying the bags with him in terms of not the money bags, but the baggage. And you come into a program where now you're the guy and you've got to earn back or earn the respect of a locker room who just has heard all this crap that's gone on.
Yep.
Like, there's a lot that goes along with that. Don't underplay that part either.
No, absolutely.
I mean, because you
not.
got to get right in the mix of wherever you're going.
Absolutely.
Zach has a question at 615-737-1045. What's up, Zach?
Hey, y'all. Good morning. Thanks for taking my call. Hey, I've got an interesting theory that kind of popped into my head from Will's words earlier. Listen to this. What do y'all think about UT called the bluff? Nico never wanted to leave. He never intended on actually leaving. His camp did not feel that it was a realistic thing that UT would be done with him and dismiss him. They're just trying to get this money right now, hostage situation. What do y'all think about this? Was not his intention to not be wearing that orange come fall. Thank you.
I appreciate it, Zach. I think that's on the table. Yeah. I think from what we know from the reporting we have, though, that they were not happy with the cast that was surrounding Nico at Tennessee, his quote-unquote camp. But, yeah, I think it's absolutely Tennessee calling his bluff. Yeah, I think that's totally on the table here.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. And I think in the conversation, there might have been the feeling of disrespect of the why. And then pride got in the way. Again, I think when whoever leaked out the Pete, what was it, Thamel that had it at first? Pete Thamel report, I think that's when pride stepped in the way and he told him, don't go to practice. And when you don't go to practice, that messed up
Pete Nakos.
Pete Nakos, yeah.
My bad. Pete
Who was
Nakos.
on Paul Feinbaum yesterday.
Was he?
Yeah.
I think what transpired Thursday night going into Friday was it. I also heard from somebody outside that they had already packed up his house too. So I think he was leaving regardless.
Gracious.
The relationship was fractured, and it was no return, especially from his teammates' perspective after he didn't show up to practice.
It's a lot to handle
It is.
at that
But
point.
this is what you do in these situations. I joke a little bit and said Tennessee's the ones that allowed Nico to be in this position by suing for it, by paying him. You also cry later, considering he was able to do it to you on the back end of it. You just didn't expect it to happen in the spring. I personally think they overplayed their hands. I would have been a sheep and wolf. I mean, he had a wolf in sheep clothing until December.
615-737-1045. Coming up, a national college football writer explains why Tennessee is a dream quarterback spot for a transfer. We'll hear that next.
7 a.m. from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. Good morning. I'm Justin Hawkins. Breaking news in the NFL this morning per Ian Rappaport and Tom Pelissero of NFL Network. The Miami Dolphins and 7-time Pro Bowl quarterback Jalen Ramsey are mutually set to explore trade options. Ramsey, who played in all 17 games last season, registered 2 interceptions, is due $25.1 million in fully guaranteed money this season. Also in the NFL, 3-time All-Pro defensive back Patrick Peterson officially announces his retirement yesterday after 13 seasons. He did so as a member of the Arizona Cardinal, where he was drafted back in 2011, 5th overall. He spent his first 10 seasons there in the NFL. And in hockey, the Nashville Predators fall 7-3 to the Utah Hockey Club at Bridgestone Arena last night. Ryan O'Reilly, Luke Evangelista, and Michael Bunting all scored for Nashville. Meanwhile, Clayton Keller led the way for Utah with 2 goals and 2 assists. The Predators are back in action tomorrow night for their season finale at Bridgestone Arena against the Dallas Stars. Puck drop is at 7 p.m. And in the NBA tonight, the play-in games start. In the East, it's the 7-seeded Orlando Magic hosting the 8-seeded Atlanta Hawks at 6:30. And in the West, the 7-seeded Golden State Warriors host the 8-seeded Memphis Grizzlies and Ja Morant. Tip-off is set for 9 p.m. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you've got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
RKW, brewed by Scooters Coffee with locations in White House, Mount Juliet, Rivergate, Smyrna, and Brentwood. Download the Scooters Coffee mobile app today to order ahead and save $2 off your first mobile order. 615-737-1045. The number. Crew's all here. Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, and Will Bowling. Coming up in 20 minutes, our latest edition of Blind NFL Draft Resumes. I'm going to give you 5 players, 3 of them current NFL running backs, who were drafted in the first 2 rounds of the last 5 NFL drafts, and then 2 current NFL draft prospects. The crew will decide who is a prospect and who is a current running back. Andy and Ari on 3, friends of the show. Andy Staples on 3, Ari Wasserman. They do a great job over there talking about Nico Iamaleava yesterday. On 3 is Ari Wasserman with a great column at on3.com as well, on why Tennessee is the dream destination for any quarterback willing to seize the moment. This was Ari yesterday.
Like, this is kind of a really great gig for whoever can get it, right? Like, because Tennessee is in a position, like, I know they didn't beat Ohio State in the playoff last year.
Defense is still good.
Do you remember?
And you're still surrounded by some pretty good players.
Do you remember the fans and how much they got behind going to Ohio Stadium? Yeah, they're blue bonnets. Thank you, Lotus. They were blue bonnets.
Their own chat as well on their live stream.
That is a fan base that is just dying to love you. Dying to love you. It is a big-time program and a big-time conference that will make you a millionaire. Plays in one of the most iconic stadiums in college football, and they are at a place where they are dying to love their quarterback. Like, in terms of big-time football and being coveted in a way that you might not be coveted at other places. Like, this is a tremendous opportunity and a very sexy opportunity for somebody who wants to step into that role. And whoever steps into that role will automatically start 5 or 6 spots ahead of where a quarterback typically does in the admiration department, because Tennessee is hurt by what happened here. They might act like they don't care.
You could be the greatest rebound QB of all time.
Yeah.
I think they both.
This is the greatest.
You can stop it there.
That's funny.
I think they make a good point that not only is Tennessee a roster that can win today, look at Dalton Connect. Look at Chaz Lanier. Heck, look at Hendon Hooker. If you want to be a legend for a fan base that is dying to not only cheer for you when your name is announced as a starting quarterback, but give you a lot of extra energy and investment and resources because of the way the last guy left, Tennessee's the place to go.
It really is.
I almost look at it opposite of like filling the shoes of someone big. Like we talk about, chasing the legendary
guy.
guy. And in a weird way with what Ari and Andy said about that situation with the fans in particular is, yes, it is a fan base that will 100% embrace you, but especially at a time like this when they feel they've been hurt, betrayed in a way, even though, Tennessee did let him go, by their quarterback, by somebody that they were really behind and they wanted to see grow within the university. And so it is almost a great time if you feel like as a quarterback that hops into the portal could handle, the SEC level and all of the pomp and circumstance that comes with it, you could be in a really good spot to thrive. And you're going to have the backing of the fans if you actually can get the job done.
And to be honest with you, Nico had that.
He did.
Nico had a bunch of Southern country folks like myself learning how to say his last name, Iamaleava.
And people still can't say it that don't.
I know that absolutely love him, but Ari's point is I think what Vol Nation is on Twitter and in real life too. Even at the Vol Walk, like watching a lot of that those folks that rallied around the guys is huge. Dying to love you. Like, I don't know who the quarterback prospect is, if he's going to be a starter, if they're going to go with the incumbent. Merklinger with George take over at some point. But whoever this next guy is, maybe the freshman in Carolina can't wait to get in. Like, I don't know what it is, but he's right. Here's the other part of what Ari was saying too. Like, I wrote it down. Dying to love you. But here's the thing, too, that goes twofold. I heard somebody having a conversation with 3HL yesterday, called in talking about his tradition in college sports dead, like because of the money. And here's the other part I think we got to condition ourselves a little bit more. This has always been there. When I got to Tennessee, there's probably out of the 22, I think, of us, the 24 of us that was signed, about 7, 8 guys wanted to hit the portal. Well, not the portal. They wanted to transfer. What stopped us was the idea that you had to either go down a level or sit out a year, and nobody was willing to do either one of those things right there. This has been happening. This has been a want of players for a very long time as it pertains to, hey, if I can go, I'm leaving. This isn't new, right? But here's also what makes the tradition of college football still, I think, remain intact. If you win, if you contribute, if you sell out while on call, while on duty, you ain't got no problem. The tradition is always going to be there, I think. The money is more elevated because we can see it now. This has always been a play. Guys have always wanted to leave school. There is 4 or 5 guys that went to the NFL as a Vol that was threatening to leave, and coach either had to let them change their numbers or put them on special teams or give them like 5 reps a game. This has always been there. Always been there. I just want you guys to know that, like, your favorite player that played in my era threatened to leave too.
Yeah.
For sure.
It was just harder. There were more guardrails to keep people from leaving because you had to go sit out a year if you left to go somewhere else.
That was a bit. There was ramifications, and that there's none of that right now because nothing's been put in place, which we keep on preaching. At some point, we've got to see some parameters be put in place for this to change.
So here's one thing I think we've learned in college football this past season. You need players to give a crap about who they're playing for. What I mean by that is Florida State having a lot of mercenary transfer portal players to replace a roster that went undefeated the year prior and missed the playoff. I think we are learning that there is value for creating loyalty in high school recruits. That doesn't win you a championship on its own. Heck, Ohio State sprinkled in transfer portal talent with Ohio guys, with local guys, with high school players they developed, like Jack Sawyer and JT Tuimoloau, to win a national championship. I think we're learning with Nico, he didn't really give a crap about Tennessee. I don't think he really cared about doing the extra stuff. I don't think he cared about representing the state of Tennessee and Tennessee fans. I think he appreciated Tennessee fans because they helped pay his paycheck. So ultimately, there is something to be said. There is value for creating loyalty in high school players earlier in their careers. And these two things aren't mutually exclusive because you think Dalton Knecht didn't give a crap about Tennessee? Absolutely he did. Chaz Lanier gave a crap. Again, local guy. There are exceptions to this rule. I'm not saying that all transfers don't care about the name on the front of their jersey, but I am saying that more of them care about the name on the back than high school players do. Because I think when you view a 1-year rental in the transfer portal as a mercenary job, you care more about the name on the back of your jersey than on the front of it. And that is something that coaches are now going to have to learn how to do, is differentiate. Do you give a crap about me and my program and my state and my university, or do you just want to get paid? And coaches' abilities now to look a kid and their parents in the eye and know that is one of the most important jobs that these guys have now in roster building and in finding the right players.
What do you think then was the situation with getting Nico here? Because obviously he was recruited, right? He's not a transfer portal guy when he was brought here. He was brought in from the high school level. He was a highly touted, prospect coming out of high school. Is there something that maybe they could have identified in him at the time that they could have put the brakes on, maybe in terms of the offer they were giving him from the jump before anyone did it? Do you think Tennessee will go back on that now and say maybe we shouldn't have given all this money, initially to a guy like that? I mean, I wonder with that too, if they'd take back anything that they
look
did.
at that situation, even going back, was it 3, almost 4 years now? It was all necessary. It was 100%, in my opinion, necessary. Tennessee was transitioning out of Jeremy Pruitt. The sanctions coming in. You're pretty much a black eye of an organization at that time. You had to go get your quarterback. This guy's the number one coming out, a West Coast kid, had the look, had everything that you wanted, and you also had the money with Spire, who was ahead of everybody at the time as it pertains to the NIL. I'm not mad at the entire project. That was a necessary thing, because what happened after that? Boy, Tennessee's got a guy that's coming in that's going to put them back over the brink. And they gave Heupel time to show that he was capable of running an offense. He got a whole lot out of Joe, got a whole lot more out of Hendon, right? And they put you on the forefront of a lot of things. That process ain't bad at all. I think Tennessee needed to do that. I'll be 100%. There's nothing wrong with the negotiation of what that was at the time, considering you needed that caliber quarterback to somewhat give a face to what new Tennessee was going to look like. That, to me, was necessary.
And Nico should have felt at that point, taking on his second season, about to enter his second full season as a starter, I think he should have felt super comfortable. I think he should have been happy with the teammates that surrounded him and the program. From everything we've heard what Tennessee's program is, to be that guy. And that's why it just is mind-boggling to me. I feel like that's how much the people around him got involved in this, because I don't think he was severely unhappy with the program.
No.
I don't get that vibe.
I think Harris got crossed towards the end. 100%. I think the idea that, look, them capitalizing on an increase was part of it. It's just the timing of it was wrong. Like Will said, the conversations that I heard from people who reported on it, investigated it, and just been trying to get close to the family or close to the university have said this. Will was spot on. I don't know who you've been talking to, but their ability to negotiate at the 11th hour, that's not how you negotiate. Multiple times.
Yeah.
Caleb, I come to you and be like, hey, you're about to walk out the door every day. Caleb, can I catch a ride? He's like, man, I had something I had to do, but I got you. By the second or third time I ask you for a ride, you're going to be like, Mom, catch a damn Uber. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't continue to come to you last minute asking you for stuff. It's just, there's a way to do business, which is, again, why I say, go, parents, if you live this world, live this life, go find a certified agent.
Exactly.
Question on YouTube says, there are thousands of kids in the portal seeking more money. Why are we singling out Nico? Nico skipped practice. Any of the rest of them do that? No. This is a different situation, and if you don't understand why, then I can't help you. But this is a very different situation than the thousands of other kids in the portal, because this was the first high-profile NIL deal for a high school quarterback. This was the first quarterback to publicly skip practice and publicly negotiate an $8 million NIL deal over multiple seasons, and he's the first quarterback to have his bluff called. And we're also in Tennessee. So if you can't understand why we're talking about Nico still, I don't know what to tell you. You got a lot of good Titans podcasts that we've posted over the last couple of weeks. 615-737-1045 is our number. NFL draft resumes, blind draft resumes for running backs next.
Hey, it's Kayla and Ramon for Window Nation. It is April and a great time to do a little spring cleaning, maybe spruce up your house, and that should probably include getting new windows from our friends from Window Nation if you need the upgrade. Right now, they've got a great deal going on. Buy 4, get 4 free sale. That's happening now. You could pay nothing until 2027, and if you buy a house full of windows, which can, by the way, save you a lot in terms of cost this summer, they'll give you a free entry door.
No doubt about it, Kayla. And here's why we trust Window Nation, too, man. They have a A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau, 50-point inspection on every window before it leaves the factory, a 20-point inspection on every window when it's installed. Listen to me. Over 20,000 five-star reviews on Google. I promise it's one of the best things you can do. Kayla told you the deal. Simply reach out to the company that we trust at 866-90Nation or go to windownation.com.
RKW on 104.5 The Zone is brewed by Scooters Coffee with locations in White House, Mount Juliet, Rivergate, Smyrna, and Brentwood. 615-737-1045. We've got blind resumes for NFL draft prospects this morning. A recurring segment leading up to next Thursday's NFL draft. Running backs. What we're going to do today. But first, let's get to some calls. We've got Kevin first up, talking about Nico Iamaleava this morning. What's up, Kevin?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good morning.
Hey, so I'll say, starting off, I am very disappointed that Nico's gone, but I am having a hard time with the narrative that they needed the school to build up the talent around him. They put together a roster that took a middle-of-the-road quarterback to a top 10 ranking in the in the NCAA playoffs. And he wants to come back and ask for $4 million, but a quarterback who deserves $4 million can elevate the talent around him, which he did not do. Tell me one player on our team who had a better season because of the play in Nico last year.
Dylan Sampson.
I think that was more Dylan Sampson, too.
That's the only answer that you really have at this point. He won the SEC Offensive Player of the Year for a reason.
I think the only answer really to me is Dante Thornton.
But did he?
Having a better season.
A better season?
But that was also because he kind of moved into a bit of a different role. Right, so again,
and is healthy.
I think Kevin makes a good point that Nico did not really elevate a lot of guys around him last year. And I still think he had a good season. He just wasn't great.
I think the talent is there.
I do too.
The need for him to be good last year wasn't there. Dylan Sampson playing a huge part in it. Nico, he was carried. Screw that. Nico was carried a little bit last year with what the offense allowed itself to do on how Hyper set up the structure of it and everything too. Now, the issues that you have with Nico as it pertains to his first year starting, that's also a part of it too. First year starter, here's a clutch gene. Where was it in times that you needed it? His best throws, Dante Thornton in the corner, was it Bama? That was his highest of highs. Chris Brazzell. That was his highs of highs right there in those moments, man. So how many more of those did he do?
I think the camp went to Tennessee and said, look at how much he got hit in the Ohio State game when he didn't have Dylan Sampson to help him out.
And then it's like you got to rally when things don't go your way exactly, too. You got to rally the troops. And I don't feel like he has gotten to that level either of being that leader he needs to be. Right. I don't care if you're from a more quiet situation in terms of how you were raised. You're a quarterback in this day and age. You got to figure out how to be a vocal leader at some point.
Don't be a quarterback then.
In any age. I mean, that's just part of being a quarterback forever. Yeah, for sure. Bob up next. Hey, Bob.
Yes, I want to put a little bit different spin on it.
Okay.
I agree with Ramon a whole lot, I believe, of what he's talking about, and he sits in a different role or spot than a lot of us people living in Tennessee. The NIL has actually helped our team a whole lot also, and I'm going to tell you a true story. We tear the goalpost down after Alabama game a couple years ago. The next day, you could call and buy season tickets. Okay? That's a true story. In Section B. Mm-hmm. And very good seats. Fast forward a couple years later, there's a 15,000, 20,000 person waiting list on that season ticket to get them. And but Ramon actually played football. And a lot of people that are bashing Nico, and I don't think Nico had the right to negotiate. He didn't have the season he needed to come back and negotiate. Don't get me wrong. But a lot of people that are I listened to the Slay show yesterday, and Slay was very passionate about something, and I love him because he likes to tell the truth, and he's, whether you like it or not. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people that might have played some high school football in Tennessee think they're in the position to judge the passion that somebody has because of the, wanting more money thing. But until you're in that situation where you can negotiate wages, for your talents in football, where you could get hurt the very next day and never play again, you'll never really know how you would be in that situation.
Yeah, thank you, Bob, for the call. We appreciate it. We got to keep it rolling this morning. Got other people on and other stuff we got to get to. But, yes, I don't think anybody's questioning the passion or his right to request more money. It's the way he went about it. It's the timing and the way that he said, hey, I'm not practicing until you pay me. Well, that was kind of the final straw. So,
and I think a lot of us have based it on the camp, too, that's doing a lot of the things that he's done.
Yep.
So,
All right, blind NFL draft resumes. Got to move quick. Running backs. Y'all ready?
Yes. Well, not really, but let's go.
Okay. 5 players drafted in the first 2 rounds of the last 5 NFL drafts, 3 of them. 2 of them are current NFL draft prospects. If you are just now listening to one of these for the first time, here we go. Player A is a 5'10", 226-pound running back. 6.41 prospect grade, will become a good starter within 2 years. Supremely productive, well-built runner with an all-day, everyday mentality that helped lead him to 3 conference rushing titles. Runs with bend and burst as an outside runner and has home run speed once he gets into the open field. He displays an ability to weave around interior traffic and might have evolved into more of a thinker than reactor. Instead, inside due to fumbling issues and the litany of loaded fronts he faced. His patience and understanding of where/when of blocks allowed him to thrive in multiple run schemes. He's more body puncher than knockout artist, wearing down his opponents with carry after carry. His traits, toughness, and talent should make him an easy starter, early starter with a solid ceiling and more third down potential than we saw at his school.
This is sick.
Player
There's
A.
so many good running backs.
I got you. I have an answer for you. I don't have it right now.
And you said this is coming out of the first and second round.
Correct.
Yeah, because they're so little.
First 2 rounds of the last 5 NFL drafts. All right.
Yep.
Player A. There you go. Player B. 6 feet, 221, 6'0". 6'3", prospect grade. Will eventually be a plus starter. High volume battering ram with a 3-ingredient recipe of size, strength, and aggression. He is a linear runner creating creativity and wiggle, but once the gas is engaged, he runs like a downhill truck whose brake lines have been cut. He has the base, balance, and power to batter tacklers and reignite runs after contact, but he fails to recognize alternative run lanes that offer easier paths and more yardage. He needs to work on his pass protection, but can create positive plays on swing passes and screens. He's a tone-setting future starter who can handle a heavy workload, but he absorbs rare levels of heavy contact that could create durability and longevity issues if he doesn't learn to pick and choose his battles.
I think I got that one pretty easy.
Okay.
Okay.
Battering ram.
Yeah.
3-ingredient recipe of size, strength, and aggression. Okay.
Yep.
Feel good about that one?
I feel real good
I don't
about
know.
that.
Really good about that one.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
interesting.
could say no on that one.
Justin, how do you feel?
I'm doing okay so far.
Okay.
I think I like number 2.
Doing okay.
What do you mean?
I
What are
feel
you
like
doing?
I've got like 3 or 4 guys that could be for each of these.
Well, okay. Well, upon some research last night, I figured out a lot of running backs are the same height and weight.
Y'all doing a whole lot of homework on this. I thought we was walking to this thing
Who
blind
said I'm
like
doing
Jeopardy.
homework?
What y'all doing studying?
You've
you
talked about
studied
time.
last week.
I'm just going back
No,
to the
that's
past 5
Justin.
drafts to figure out who's the first 2-round picks.
All right,
And
we'll
then
let,
I go
we'll
from
let
there.
Justin guess last.
Yeah.
Because he's probably going to be right on every one of them.
Player C is 5'11", 217 pounds, a 638 prospect grade, will eventually be plus starter. Will give NFL evaluators early starter vibes with his blend of size, power, and creativity. He isn't very sudden in tight quarters, but gets better as the run play progresses, with good vision and an above-average sense for how to beat second-level tacklers. He has surprising build-up speed once he's in the open field, but might not have the instant gas to become a plus outside runner. His running style is willful when it needs to be, and he's adept at moving the chains on gotta-have-it short yardage carries. This player is a full package, 3-down talent with surprisingly soft hands out of the backfield and should find early touches.
Okay.
All right, I'm erasing
I got that
going
one.
somewhere else.
I know.
No longer feels as good.
I didn't feel that good at first. I put my answer down real quick right there.
Okay.
Real quick.
Not anymore.
I like it. Player D, 5'11", 215 pounds, a 6'8" prospect grade, year 1 starter. That's a high grade. Full menu back, blending a smorgasbord of position-specific traits that allow him to affect gains. Again, That is Lance Zierlein's word choices, not mine. He is well built with a compact lower half and pairs a low center of gravity with agile feet. There are elements of both fight and flight in his running style, but defenders can never be quite sure what they are going to get. He is a capable inside/outside runner with unique footwork to stack moves and reset pathways, but can plow into tacklers at a moment's notice using elite contact balance to keep the run rolling. He might need to dial back efforts to search out big runs so frequently and take what is there a little more often to keep from getting bogged down. His pass-catching talent ensures the opportunity for him to see a high number of touches. Okay. He has a chance to become one of the more productive runners in the league very quickly.
Okay. Locked it in.
Locked it in. Okay.
Locked it in.
I feel
interesting.
Yeah, maybe I felt a little too confident.
Really?
I'm gonna get.
I'm feeling 4 for 4. I'm gonna be real with y'all.
Really?
I'm feeling 4 for 4.
Well, then let's give you Prospect E, a 5'8", 211-pound running back with a 7'15" elite prospect grade. Plays a position that has become devalued on draft day, but his unique talent and the resurgence of the run game of the NFL should force teams to reconsider that factor when weighing his value. He's the ultimate yardage creator with the talent and skill set to succeed independent of the quality of his blocking. His speed forces linebackers to flow hard outside, creating cutback lanes and chunk runs, while his vision, balance, and elusiveness get it done along the interior. The threat of what he can do on the ground should create ideal play-action opportunities for his team, allowing his next play caller to, say, unburden a young quarterback or any other passer being asked to shoulder too much of the offense. He's compact and muscular, but there could be some minor concern surrounding his massive workload. This top-flight running back is capable of becoming the face of an offense in a league where the pendulum might be swinging back to the running back game. He has future all-pro talent.
Okay.
So good.
Got that one.
I can't wait to ace this one.
I really hope y'all are wrong on that one just because you're so confident about it. I think that'd be funny.
I'm so hype about this one. I'm so
Now we're
hyped.
like, yeah. Whoa.
All right,
so
let's
ready.
let's debrief before we give our guesses. Which ones do we feel the best about?
4.
4. Okay.
And 3.
And 3.
I feel good about 4 and 5.
Okay.
Yeah, 4 and 5.
4 and 5.
Are the ones I feel good about.
Interesting.
The chat back.
I feel good about it, man. I'm ready to go. I think I'm going to crush this one today.
You really do?
I do.
Well, I know you had the F&M Bank chat up because you're still fighting with people about Nico during
I didn't pick that. Trust me, I didn't need a cheat sheet.
No, I know.
Yeah, not this time. I was fighting with folks.
Nobody was giving hints this
No one
morning.
was having hints, huh?
Slay was laughing at how quickly I sniped the last caller. Hey, we got to keep it moving sometimes.
Yeah, we had a game to play.
That's right.
We
ready.
like this game.
We had plans. The Slay Show was a
We
great
do like
comment.
this. Sally's the one that boosted this up a little bit more. So Sally, Bob need to blame you.
All right,
Bob.
Player A, 5'10", 226, 641 grade. Who is he, Ramon Foster?
Brees Hall.
Brees Hall, Player A. Kayla Anderson.
Jonathan Taylor.
Justin Hawkins.
JT.
It is Jonathan Taylor.
The fumbles.
Yes.
Fumbles. Fumbles were the giveaway on that one. Jonathan Taylor had
Hands
fumble
down.
issues at Wisconsin.
Y'all get the bell.
And
I don't.
the 3-time conference. Rushy.
Conference did he come? JT come out. Hey,
The
that's
Big Ten.
messed up, J Hall.
Big Ten.
They're a team that has
messed
not
up.
moved conferences.
Wisconsin. Ooh.
You remember how big he was there?
He was.
Yeah.
A big guy.
Wisconsin has had a good little run of running backs.
They sure have.
Sure have.
No pun intended.
Monty Ball, James White.
Dane.
Yeah.
Whew, what a class.
Player B
Oh, great.
is 6 foot 221, a 635 prospect grade. Kayla, who is that?
Quinshon Junkins.
Ramon Foster,
Najee Harris.
Justin Hawkins.
I was thinking Judkins because of his, what was it, the screenplay,
Yes.
especially in the playoffs.
Yes.
Give me a ding. I'm right. None of you are. O'Marion Hampton.
The
Player B.
North Carolina running back.
O'Marion Hampton.
I got you.
You're all wrong.
That's a close description, I feel like, with Quinshon.
Yeah.
I think Hampton's more linear and bigger. Battering ram.
Yeah.
I don't know if Judkins is a battering ram.
Yeah.
6 foot 221, 635 grade. Hampton, who will go in the first round.
He will.
Yeah, he's good.
First round running back.
Real
Here's
good.
Quinshon's measurables: 6 foot 221.
Okay.
I
630
know.
grade.
Okay.
Battering
Will
ram
eventually
made
be
me
a
think
plus
Najee.
starter.
Yeah.
Well,
Very
Yeah.
comparable.
Well, since you've studied this, you didn't stop studying.
I just looked this up right now.
I wish I could throw some at you right now. I so wish
That
I
glass,
could throw
I don't
some.
think we could break
The
it.
glass ain't gonna break.
All right, that's
It ain't
one
gonna
win
break.
for me. Player C, 5'11", 217. Kayla, who is it?
Travis Etienne.
Ramon?
Marion Hampton.
Justin?
I was thinking Najee.
Najee Harris.
I win again.
Oh, my God.
Player C is Brees Hall.
Oh, so you had him as your A, right?
Oh, yes. I had him on my A.
Player C is Brees Hall. Fluid, or what was it? Early starter vibes, blend of size, power, and creativity.
Yeah, I was wrong. if 2 was
Cross
wrong,
hands
3
out of the
definitely was wrong
backfield?
for me. Or C was definitely wrong for me.
I like Travis
Gee.
Etienne too.
4.
Player D, Ramon.
Ashton Genty.
Kayla.
I'm picking Bijan Robinson for this one.
Justin.
Yeah, this is Bijan. Ashton Genty's way too small for that.
This is Bijan Robinson. This is why I put Bijan in there, because he is the only other elite
Size.
prospect of the last 5
What was his
drafts.
rating? Like a 7?
A 6'8" year one starter.
6'4". But that's Ashton Genty. Exactly. That's Genty also.
Genty is so much smaller though in terms of the high process.
I think Genty's
Grow a
what?
little, Genty.
He's a small
Jeez.
5'8".
Make
He
me right.
is.
Genty is 5'8", 211,
Compact
715 grade. He is the elite prospect as player E.
Yep.
Who did you think player E was?
Jahmyr Gibbs.
Ashton Genty. Don't throw your pen at me.
He wants to throw something.
I want to throw something. I do.
I assume you guys both had Genty.
Yeah, I had Genty.
Just for you being the most confident.
I was so confident in this one. I missed all 5 of them, y'all.
So
flag on the play. Exactly.
I was gonna put Najee Harris in there originally, and then it would have been too obvious.
Right.
Based off of his explanation. Don't throw this on my coffee cup. I don't have my lid on right now.
I ain't gonna throw them in that.
Actually, no, to our bosses. Yes, I do have the lid on right now. So,
Of course you do.
No, I thought that was the hardest one yet.
That
So,
was
no shame.
That was difficult.
No shame.
Are most running backs? I mean,
Most running backs are 5'11". Is what I
Similar.
learned from doing this.
no higher than 6 foot tall.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
I just knew I had it. Yeah, you're right. I'm gonna just lay my head on
And
down.
you had like all the guys. You just had them like flip flopped a
mixed
little.
up.
Unless you're Derrick Henry, everybody's the same.
I was gonna say we
exactly.
should have put
Which
Derek
is,
in
no,
here.
I was never going to. 6'4", 245 pounds.
6'4".
I knew you was gonna put Jahmyr Gibbs in there. I just.
I actually did think about it because I tried to put someone else compared to
Yeah.
Genty. What I should have done was not only put Genty in there. That way I made you guys decide, is that Genty or Bijan? Oh. Instead of deciding which is which and
put
being able to
both.
pick between the two. But anyway.
What's our last one that we're doing? Are we doing this again?
We got more to go. We've only done like 4 positions. We got 9 days till the draft. There's only so many times we can talk about Cam Ward. I think there are a lot of people that are ready to talk about something else other than Cam Ward.
I saw the list.
Out
By the
there.
way, Jackson Dart is going up.
Yeah.
Nobody informed
and
me of that.
Shador Sanders isn't.
I was shocked by
Shador's
Jackson.
isn't?
Shador's isn't.
Yeah, it is.
Shador
Sanders
going
is
up.
going up? I didn't see that.
We'll talk about that in 20 minutes. 615-737-1045 is our number. There is an over-under on running backs that was set. How many are going to go in the first round? Talk about it next.
It's Ramon Foster for the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Good people, man. They have right now a 47% off on their non-surgical spinal decompression, man. It's the big 47 offer of 2025, man. Listen to me.
We love
what
being
I'm telling
part
you
of
is
the
this.
moments that matter,
Your health is
which is why
very
we're
important
announcing
to you. The
employee
well-being of
pricing
yourself is
for
too, man.
everyone.
Listen, if you got shooting
You
pain
pay
down your
what
legs, your
we
neck
pay.
may be hurting, knees
Employee
may be
pricing
hurting,
at
back
Two
may be
Rivers
hurting.
Ford.
This is where the
Locally
Wellness
owned,
Institute of Nashville can help you.
American
They're
made.
simply the best, man. Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Ash especially, are experts at non-surgical spinal decompression with the most state-of-the-art futuristic facility, and I promise you it's that too, with all the latest and high-tech equipment to get you feeling better. That's the thing about it. They don't want you to just continue to just come back to them. No, they want to get you healthy, get you back out into your regular routines that you were once used to. So if you want to feel better about yourself, man, and get your back, spine, knees better, simply call the Wellness Institute of Nashville at 615-246-5009 or go to painisbad.com.
RKW Brew by Scooters Coffee on 104.5. The Zone continues. Wrapping up the first half of the show. There is a private workout going on with a quarterback and an NFL team picking in the top 10. We'll take a look at the NFL headlines coming up here in 15 minutes. Guys, I'm curious, though, your thoughts on running backs. We just scouted them with live blind NFL draft resumes. Mm-hmm. The over-under on first-round running backs to be drafted is 2.5. DraftKings has the under as a minus 150 favorite. Will there be more than just Ashton Genty and Omarion Hampton in the first round at the running back position, in your opinion?
In the first round, I can't see no more than those two, to be quite honest with you. I think those two are for sure. If I could bet on that, I would go under for sure. I just think it's a deeper class of D tackles, D end, or edge, and potentially finding your wide receivers late. I think it'll be a more run on that one. So I'm gonna go to under.
Yeah, I'm going the under on that one too. I think it's that's why we expanded this exercise to 2 rounds too, because there's not a ton that usually go in the first round. And I know there's been maybe a resurgence with a guy like Ashton Genty. And again, Omarion Hampton, you cannot underestimate him. I just think those are the 2 best glaring. And there's other things in terms of the defensive line that I think there's going to be a big push for that. You got the wide receivers. Do we see maybe 4 go? Tight end, throw a couple in there. So yeah, I'd say under.
It does feel like there will be a run on running backs on night 2 of the draft.
For sure.
Travion Henderson, Quinshon Judkins from Ohio State, Caleb Johnson from Iowa, Cam Skattebo of Arizona State. All guys that could be day 2 picks.
I agree.
Going back through 2020, heck, 2019, there's been no more than 2 in the first round anyway. I was a little shocked seeing Jahmyr Gibbs sneak in when he did in 23. It was well worth it. I thought it was a little bit of a reach at the time. It was a little bit more shocking than anything, considering what his role was going to be. And as physical as Detroit was, I didn't think he fit their style. Boy, was I wrong. That is a perfect piece of what they like to be, just finesse and power type of offense that they run.
The fit has been...
He's a stud.
Perfect.
Golly, that's a stud.
It does feel like the Raiders are one of those teams that will need a running back. The Bears, another one to me.
Yeah.
And the Bears with a couple of second-round picks. I think one of those, or a running back, if they don't go with Omarion Hampton, or if Ashton Genty doesn't fall to them. To me, if Ashton Genty gets past the Raiders, he's going to Chicago.
Easy.
To me, if the Raiders pass on Genty, Chip Kelly's the offensive coordinator. They're getting one of those Ohio State running backs in the second round.
Absolutely. And both of those guys I really like, Quinshon and Travion Henderson.
What do you like more?
That's a great. I think Travion, and I don't know. Maybe it's just Quinshon. I think both of them played at a big amount there last year. I just saw more over time there at Ohio State from Travion Henderson. Quinshon was like the hot commodity coming out of Ole Miss that transferred there, and I think he was a great addition. But I think Travion, just longevity-wise, I like him.
Henderson last season, 144 carries, 1,016 yards. Judkins, 194 carries, 1,060 yards. In 3 seasons, Judkins had 3,700 rushing yards, had 1,000 plus all 3 seasons in his college football career. And it's kind of crazy. These guys are separated by 24 total yards rushing.
It's good.
Travion Henderson had 24 less rushing yards over 4 years. Judkins with more in 3 years.
Yeah. And he went up there and
he's good.
He did 2,000-yard rushes in the season. I mean, that says a lot about the team that they had, but not just that. Those dudes, I don't want to take away from them. Quinshon Judkins, even at Ole Miss, was that type of player, too. I liked him. I think he's dynamic.
He was good in the playoffs, too, this year.
No doubt. I think early on, I think he may be a little bit more suited to take the workload. I mean, looking at their carries and stuff like that from last year, Quinshon had 194 and Travion had 144. So
I loved how Travion, responded to that though, like bringing like Quinshon in.
Good teammate.
He embraced him. They let it be a situation where they could both be a good part of that offense, because that'd be hard to do. You have 2 stars at running back.
It felt like Felix Jones and Darren McFadden.
At
That's
Arkansas.
essentially what they had for the most part.
You're right.
Yeah, a little bang bang type of crew right there. Jeez, I didn't realize Travion averaged 7.1 a carry.
Travion Henderson had less carries, even though he played an extra year than Judkins. He had 6.4 yards per attempt in his college football career, and Judkins had 5.1.
I think one goes after the other in the draft.
I do too.
I would probably lean Judkins. The size is a little bit better, 221 for him versus
bigger.
202 for Henderson. I think he could withstand a bigger workload a little bit more. And to me, he's more of a home run hitter, Judkins. He's a little bit more explosive with the ball in his hands than Henderson. But they're both excellent.
so
I think
good.
they're both RB1
For sure.
wherever they go.
Yeah.
Easily.
I think
Yeah,
they'll be good.
100%.
There's some really good backs. Now that I'm looking at this draft,
It's a good year to need one.
It is a good year to need one. The Titans said they need one too. It's just what round will they go get
know.
a younger one?
Titans could benefit from a kick return specialist running back.
yeah.
Or punt return specialist as well. But, I mean, it sounds like they have Prochet potentially to be a returner, James Prochet. So maybe they have that already covered. But having another option. We've learned here in Tennessee that you could never have too many options to receive punts and kicks.
No. Stack them if you
absolutely
can.
Because eventually we're going to see Amani Hooker out there if you don't,
We don't want to see that.
respectfully.
Not at this part of
He'll
his
catch
career.
the ball. He just won't return it far.
That's what I was
Yeah.
going to say.
I don't want him
How
getting
far we
hurt. We
rolling?
need safeties.
Yeah, you definitely need one.
Don't let that depth get any thinner.
615-737-1045 is our number. A team is meeting with a quarterback. Are the Giants the place for Shedeur Sanders? More information and reporting out there about it. That's next.
It's Ramon Foster for Low T Center. Guys, over for a listen up. If you're running low on energy or just feeling a little off, lowtcenter.com is where you need to go. Get started with testosterone replacement therapy or TRT, man, and join lots of guys that are going through the same thing as you, man. Right now, April only, you can get a free consultation if you qualify. Treatment is covered by most major insurances, and it's an affordable way to check your testosterone and kickstart your life. So don't wait, man. Listen to me. Go ahead and reach out to the company I trust at lowtcenter.com and be sure to tell them that Ramon sent you.
7:58 from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. Good morning. I'm Justin Hawkins. Breaking news in the NFL this morning per Ian Rappaport and Tom Pelissero of NFL Network. The Miami Dolphins and 7-time Pro Bowl cornerback Jalen Ramsey are mutually set to explore trade options. Ramsey, who played in all 17 games and registered 2 interceptions last season, is due $25.1 million in fully guaranteed money this season. However, the Dolphins already paid $4 million in a roster bonus, so of the $25.1 million fully guaranteed, a new team would only have to pick up $21.1. And in hockey last night, the Nashville Predators fall 7-3 to the Utah Hockey Club at Bridgestone Arena. Ryan O'Reilly, Luke Evangelista, and Michael Bunting all scored for Nashville. Meanwhile, for Utah, Clayton Keller led the way with 2 goals, 2 assists, securing the win. The Predators will host their season finale tomorrow night against the Dallas Stars at Bridgestone Arena. Puck drop is at 7 p.m. And in the NBA, the play-in games start tonight, starting in the East. The 7-seeded Orlando Magic hosts the 8-seeded Atlanta Hawks at 6:30. And the West, the 7-seeded Golden State Warriors host the 8-seeded Memphis Grizzlies and Ja Morant with tip-off set for 9 p.m. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans involves this is 104.5 The Zone.
RKW is brewed by Scooters Coffee on 104.5 The Zone, kicking off the second half of the show. And you can kick off your morning with a hot cup of Scooters Coffee, maybe a cold one. Perhaps it's a protein smoothie you need in your life. Those maple waffle breakfast sandwiches with the sausage, the egg, and the cheese all warmed up on the inside of it. Perhaps it's a cinnamon roll. Look, you want to celebrate like it's Friday on a Tuesday. I'm not going to blame you. In fact, I'm giving you permission to. Download the Scooters Coffee mobile app today to order ahead and save $2 off your first mobile order. So the New Orleans Saints are still the favorites to land Colorado quarterback Shedeur Sanders, but there is a chance that he does not make it to the number 9 overall pick. Per NFL media, the Giants will conduct a private workout with Shedeur Sanders. That development comes after the Giants, of course, added Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston. Neither team has a contract that screams starter. Many people believe the Giants would not take Sanders at 3 here at ProFootballTalk.com, but they could trade down to get him, this writer says, as long as they don't go any lower than 8 if the Saints are lurking at 9. Big deal that the Giants are scheduling a late visit with Shedeur Sanders?
Absolutely. It tells you how they feel about where they are as a franchise and what answers they need to honestly reinvigorate that doggone fan base up there. And I know that ain't what matters. The play on the field is what matters. But giving yourself, as we spoke about, that young, especially first-round quarterback gives you maybe 1 or 2 more years to prove yourself as a coach, too. Those aren't long-term solutions that they have with the Giants. And, of course, if you got conversations about Jackson Dart or the Saints, I think their Carr situation, that really raises your eyebrows a little bit more to where you figure, well, we'll just get him in the second round as far as Shedeur is concerned, or trade back up to get him late in the first. This changes a lot, I think, now that the Saints are in on it, too.
Yeah, I mean, there seems to be a little bit push here at the end when it comes to the quarterbacks that could be going in the first round, whether it be Jackson Dart or Shedeur Sanders. And I said this, I think, last week. I still don't think the Giants were completely out on Shedeur Sanders for that fact exactly, Ramon, is if you have the ability to take a quarterback like him who, if you think and you're convinced that he could be eventually your starter, it's almost like a value situation if you get him at 3, are able to sit him, play Russ or Jameis, probably Russell Wilson at this point, but let him learn behind 2 veteran quarterbacks and be ready for the moment then when it does happen. Because I do still think Shedeur can be a starting quarterback in this league, but I think having a little bit of time to do it and to grow in that system, I think is even more probably beneficial for everyone. But again, you are taking a risk because there are 2 figures, the GM and the head coach, that don't have a lot of time to work with when it comes to their jobs.
And that's why they need immediate contributors.
like a Travis Hunter or an Abdul Carter.
Exactly. I think the hot seat for Joe Shane and Brian Dable will keep them from making this move, but I do think it is very interesting that they continue kicking the tires on making it. I go back and forth on whether or not they should take Shedeur or Abdul Carter. They do not need Abdul Carter. They really don't.
No, what their team makeup is.
Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, and
I agree.
Already at edge. Now, you don't want to draft based on need, especially not in the top 5, where you want blue chip talent that's going to hit, regardless of what position it plays. But I go back and forth because I think Brian Dable is a good quarterback coach. However, I don't think the parts around Shedeur Sanders would allow him to be a major success in New York. I really don't.
Parts around him other than like Malik Neighbors in that sense, right?
Malik Neighbors is about it.
But do you think
And Andrew
he'd
Thomas,
play
your left tackle.
Year one?
Huh?
You think he'd play year one then?
What?
I think he'd be like out there competing. Absolutely. I just don't think he would at least start this.
I think he would play at some point.
To that point then about like, do you as somebody that's on the hot seat go get a weapon to help out Russ, potentially Jameis, potentially the offensive line?
It feels like it's either Abdul Carter or Shedeur Sanders for the Giants if they pick at 3. And I don't know why they would trade back because I don't see a team wanting to move up there for any of these guys.
Yeah, and again, like if I can say the same thing as far as like the number 1 overall pick versus the number 3 overall, is Shedeur worth the pick? Or do we just have to separate ourselves and say this is a quarterback selection too? The Giants, if they had a little bit more success, Shedeur planning to be the future is a different conversation. But looking at the way their team is set up and the pressure that their coach is under, myself, unless I'm just trying to screw over them by the time I leave, with my payout, I'm not taking the quarterback. I'm trying to win and prove myself to be a serious coach in that sense. So it's sticky for them. Is Shedeur worth it? Is what they got to ask themselves in that moment. And there ain't no indictment on him. It's about how much can you save your job as a coach at this point.
Is there anybody else that they would take if Travis Hunter goes to the Cleveland Browns, which we think he will? They decided to pass on Abdul just for the fact that they're stacked defensively. But is there another guy that they would take in that 3 spot?
Giants?
I mean, you never say never. But
I know.
No.
I'm like, what? No. It's like, what other guy would they take?
They're not going to take Will Campbell.
Right.
They're not going to take Mason Graham.
Not Ashton Genty.
No.
That's too high.
No.
Right?
I'd be shocked if it's anyone but Abdul Carter or Shedeur Sanders.
I mean, do you reach for Teteroa McMillan?
No.
To get more help at wide receiver?
Not at 3.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
not at 3.
They're stuck. Quarterback justifies it simply because he's a quarterback. And it's New York. And from my understanding, the folks that's been surrounding, he would love to be in the New York market, Shedeur.
I think it would.
But you also signed Russ. And Russ had a fizzled out season at the end of the year with Pittsburgh, too. So his motivation is going to be a little bit different. It's a matter of how long can you last and the success you can have with Russ or Jameis before you can actually ever see Shedeur.
God bless the Indianapolis Colts.
What they do
now? What?
Rolling over in Week 17, losing to the Giants that they, as a franchise, get stuck. 45-33 on December the 29th. God bless them.
Unreal.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you to your boys, to your Colts.
That's such a weird organization.
For putting them in that
now.
situation and putting the Titans in the one that they are in. I love it. New mock draft from ESPN.com. Field Yates and Mel Kiper always do this as their final exercise. Well, they will go back and forth. Mel will take the first pick, Field will take the second, or vice versa, all the way down. It is a 3-round mock draft. Of course, that means the Titans make 2 picks, because if the Titans are trading back, then they only have 2 picks in the first 3 rounds. Jaden Higgins, wide receiver, Iowa State, would come to the Titans within this exercise. The big physical wide receiver would be picked by the Titans with Luther Burden still on the board. Luther Burden, who reportedly is meeting with the Titans today.
No doubt. Does it come to issues then? Like, is the reason Luther Burden is falling off the way
I think
he
it's
is
the
at this
off-field
point?
stuff. Yep.
Yes.
I mean, it must be pretty serious if there's all these teams that are like not willing to just kind of deal with it.
Yeah. I saw somebody, I heard somebody having a conversation like, your attitude in camps won't affect your NFL perception. It does. It wasn't like Luther Burden is the reason. Like for me, the Iamaleava situation can come back and bite you in your butt, right? If your camp is going to be in our practice facilities and all around us, or whatever Luther Burden III's issues are, and I think he's a non-issue. It's his camps that you got to deal with. And when you start in high school with agents and confidants and handlers and stuff like that, that's a lot of voices in your control.
Well, Buck Rising told me over the weekend on Twitter that if Nico can play, it absolutely won't be brought up.
We're watching it right now. We're watching it right now with Luther Burden because Luther Burden is a stud. I thought he was wide receiver 2
thought so too.
At the lowest.
He dropped production-wise a little last year at Missouri, but not enough to be like, oh my gosh, he's going to fall out of the first round.
You knew what he was going to turn into, though, right? Or you know what he's capable of. That's fascinating to me that you have that level of talent. No injuries.
Right.
I don't think he's ever been arrested or anything, but your camp is a perception of why you're falling at this point. That's not a good place to be at. Small circles.
Rearrange your camp, sir.
Listen, small circles matter, man. Keep a small group around you.
In this exercise for Mel Kiper and Field Yates, about mixed their names at that point. Pretty much exactly what we expect to the top 10. Cam Ward 1, Travis Hunter 2, Abdul Carter 3, Will Campbell 4 to the Patriots. Feels like a foregone conclusion at this point. Mason Graham, 5th to the Jags, also feels like a foregone conclusion at this point. I do not love playing against that front twice a year. Josh Hines Allen, Trayvon Walker, Mason Graham up front for the Jags.
With the Jags, yeah. That's scary.
Ashton Genty, 6 to Vegas. Armand Membu to the Jets at tackle. Jalen Walker to the Panthers. Shedeur Sanders to the Saints. Tyler Warren to the Bears. As far as quarterbacks,
good weapon.
3 go in the first round in Mel Kiper's mock draft with Field Yates. Jackson Dart goes 29th to the Cleveland Browns in a trade with the Commanders. And then Tyler Shuck goes 34th to the Giants with the second pick in the second round.
Okay.
If you were the Giants, if you're Joe Shane, GM, would you rather roll the dice on Shedeur Sanders at 3 or on Tyler Shuck at 34?
Give me Tyler Shuck at 34.
See, I'm going opposite.
You are?
I think we've talked ourselves into Tyler Shuck.
What you mean?
I think we, in a bad quarterback draft, have elevated him to a level that he does not belong.
I just think the age and everything.
I push back on that.
Too many intangibles, too many injuries, and a guy that was 25 playing against 18-year-olds.
Also very healthy last year also.
He was
also
last year.
Can spin the ball and have more athletic ability than you think. Like, we're talking about a second-round pick on a quarterback that can potentially elevate your team or help move your team up to a higher level at some point. Yeah, I'm taking him, considering you on one-year deals with guys in your building.
I have trouble with second-round quarterbacks in general because if you believe that much in him, just take him in the first round.
Again, we got to speak about the value of it too. If
right,
the guys that you would take later in the first aren't there, like there's justification in the draft though too.
I like a second round quarterback when you have a proven starter that's there for 3 to 5 years. The Giants don't have that.
They got 1 year gaps.
They do, but that's not enough for me to put Tyler Shuck with Russell Wilson and have him be successful. I would do that in the second round if I was LA. I would do that in the second round if I was Minnesota. And again, I'm not saying in terms of need. I'm saying coach and quarterback situations. Like Jalen Hurts is a good example of the right landing spot for a second-round pick quarterback. Will Levis is the wrong example. And Will Levis was brought here to sit for 1 or 2 years. If the Titans had really loved Will Levis, they would have taken him where they took Peter Skronsky. But they
tried.
They tried to trade back up into the first round, late 20s, with the Bills.
They tried.
Again, I have a trouble with second-round quarterbacks brought into situations where they're going to have to play quickly.
So this is what I have an issue with. Have we overly conditioned ourselves that you can only be successful at quarterback if you're a first-rounder?
I don't think we have, no.
I feel like we do the way we judge them.
What's that?
Like, because a second-round pick, that's 32 gone off the board. Picks.
Right. Yeah.
Not all quarterbacks. That second round, the next 32, is very talented also.
It is.
I just think team needs push back guys at time. And then also, if you're picking in the second round for a quarterback, you've already got your premier player that justifies that. A second-round quarterback, to me, I'm taking a shot on. It's the same way I feel about being completely honest with you. I'm not opposed to starting freshmen in college either and not going to the portal. I live that same life.
What I think it really is, though, in that second round mode is I think it's more so because the talent's a little less, right? You have to really hit with fit. Now, if you think the fit where you're drafting that second round quarterback is a hit, then I say, hell yeah. And that could really work. I think it just lowers maybe just your options a little bit because it's got to be a big fit. Yeah.
I'm with that.
Well, what do we say all the time, though? The quarterback draft is independent of the rest of the draft. Just because your quarterback goes in the second round doesn't even mean he's a second round talent because we reach based on the importance of that position. To me, in a weak quarterback year, a desperate quarterback team is going to reach for Tyler Shuck, Jackson Dart, and probably even Jalen Milroe. That shouldn't be drafting any of those guys. I don't know. I think we have gotten obsessed with the intangibles and the size and the measurables of Shuck. I think there are a couple of places where he could be successful. I don't think the New York Giants are one of those places. Just my opinion.
That's your opinion.
Where would he fit?
Shuck?
I just said it, L.A., a place with a proven quarterback guru coach where he can sit for 2 to 3 years.
Anywhere else?
I think a place like, the Rams are, I just think, the ideal quarterback landing spot for anyone, to be honest with you.
It's just fascinating, though, because that's not a throwaway pick to me.
No, it's not. And that's why I'm saying it's a reach.
But also,
that's why, pick 34, you can get a good starter, and they need a good starter.
Shador at 3 is a reach.
Yeah. He is. I agree with that, too. Yeah. That's why I'm saying I wouldn't take it. I'm undecided on taking him at 3 if I'm the Giants also.
Yeah.
Because it's a reach.
It is a reach. But, if you can get your guy in the second round and get a weapon to help your current starters, I would much rather live that life with Tyler Shuck more than anything. He can play. Injuries aside, he can play. And last year was a healthy season for him to help reset whatever. And then he also gets another year to sit and potentially watch and grow. I'm not opposed to it.
615-737-1045. The Monday roast moves to Tuesday. Our chance to complain coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster for All-American Pest Control. Good people, it's that time of the year, and I felt it last night, man, when the bugs get a little bit buggier. I was at the park, man, but it's also this time of the year where I'm also happy to have All-American Pest Control. They take care of me and my family, man, and have for years now, man. Listen to me. At our house, we want every single bug gone, man. Occasional spider or two is okay. But what I'm telling you is this, man. We are set up with All American's Complete Care Max program for pest control, mosquitoes, termites, and yard. What I love is if a pest gets inside, all I have to do is give them a call. They send the pest experts back out to treat the inside at no extra charge. It is fantastic, man. Again, they have a great reputation here. The family owned. I've met the owners. They are phenomenal themselves, man, and have been here in our community for over 60 years. Trust me, businesses don't last that long unless they're good. And All American Pest Control is. Simply reach out to the company I trust at yuckbugs.com. That's yuckbugs.com.
Hey, living in Nashville, absolutely love it. There's a lot going on here, and sometimes that can be a little bit overwhelming. So you need a real estate agent that you can trust. That's why you need to check out my friend Bernie Gallerani. Bernie Gallerani, he's got years of experience. He's going to know the neighborhood and absolutely cares about your buying or selling goals. In fact, Bernie guarantees to sell your home in 30 days or less, or he's just going to buy it from you. Finding the right home, we all know this, it takes time. And for Charisse, that meant 6 months of searching for the perfect place. That's where Bernie Gallerani Real Estate made all the difference. From day one, the team was patient. They answered every question of hers, making the entire process smooth and stress-free. So when Charisse was ready, they found her perfect home. Bernie is the only real estate agent in Nashville recommended by Barbara Corcoran of Shark Tank. The only agent I would trust to sell my home. All you got to do is give him a call on his cell phone, 615-428 428-2644. That's 615-428-2644. Or go to BernieGallerani.com.
RKW 1045, The Zone is brewed by Scooters Coffee as we continue in hour number 3. Jason Swain going to join us in hour 4. Ramon Foster's Vol Network teammates, of course, former Tennessee wide receiver and radio host at Sports Radio WNML. Went into a Hall of Fame last night in his hometown of Huntsville in Madison, Alabama. Congratulations to Swain.
What an honor. Yeah, that's big time for him, man.
What a guy. Looking forward to having him in an hour.
Yeah, he definitely downplayed it. That's a big event right there.
I know.
Yeah.
It's a good time for us to have him on.
No doubt.
I love it. It is time for the Monday roast on a Tuesday.
Tuesday. Tuesday.
Didn't do it yesterday because we were busy at the Fun Recovery Golf Tournament, but we give you the opportunity to complain about anyone or anything in sports or even just someone in your week. 615-737-1045. Who's batting leadoff today?
Who's batting leadoff?
I will.
You got it. Go ahead for it, okay?
Yeah, got to get the party started. I'm not a huge person to want to bring up political stuff on here, and this is not really political, but this is, an event that happened at the White House recently. So as you guys know, Ohio State's football team went to the White House, and J.D. Vance, the vice president, actually spent a year at Ohio State. He's from Ohio, by the way, before he went to Yale and got his degree there. But he was going over to pick up the championship trophy. And speaking of our guy, Trevion Henderson, Henderson was right there, almost in like he was expecting maybe something to happen, because not everybody can handle that trophy the exact right way. But it felt like from the beginning, if you watch the video, like he was nervous to pick it up. Like everybody's kind of nervous sometimes when you got to pick up a big trophy of that caliber just because you don't want to drop it. And he picked it up. And of course, the bottom fell out and then it fell out of his hand. And Henderson was like right there to pick it up. And it's so funny, though, to see like all the different expressions in the background with all the players, because everybody has such a different expression. And then I think Vance went to his Twitter or something and said like he didn't want to give it back. He wanted to take it for himself or something. But I thought it was so funny because it's like we always hate the moment that could happen. There's always that anticipation when you pick up a trophy that's not yours, and the bottom drops out, and that is exactly what happened to J.D. Vance.
He said on Twitter that he didn't want anybody else after Ohio State to get the trophy, so he's decided to break it.
He just decided to break it.
Hey, bro, ever picked up a trophy before?
Right?
Boom, roasted.
Roasted.
No doubt. That was a good one. I saw that. I was like, oh, no, don't
I know.
do that,
And it happens a lot.
Is that your one?
Oh, do we have more? Yeah, I have another one.
Go for it.
So I am a big food person, right? I love food. I am all about going to a game and trying something new. But I don't know how crazy you can get. And the Blue Jays have gotten pretty crazy in terms of what they're doing up there in Canada. They have added cotton candy fries to home games this season, which makes me want to vomit in my mouth.
Oh, no, that sounds pretty good.
No.
I would love that.
First of all, you're already, like, fries should be fries. Cheese,
ketchup,
ranch.
Oh, these look good.
But you put cotton candy with like sugar drizzle on it, that just is a stomach ache waiting to happen. And then you can't enjoy the rest of the game because you're on the pot in the men's restaurant or the girls' restaurant.
No, this looks good.
Or restaurant.
You got to try that. You got to go over to. Well, because I've had the cotton candy bacon at Cane Prime. Shout out, humble brag, and sweet and salty mix with cotton candy stuff because it just dissolves so quickly. It just ends up being like sugar on fries.
You might rot out your teeth before the game's over.
I brush well.
Did you look it up, Ramon and Justin?
I just saw it now.
I'm looking at it right now.
It's like
I would do it with it. The drizzle looks a bit excessive, but the cotton candy itself, I'm fine with.
The drizzle's a lot.
Drizzle's a bit too much. I'm gonna be honest with you. You know what most would tell you anyway? pretty much eating ketchup anyway. Ketchup got a ton of sugar.
Yeah,
no doubt
it
about
does.
I'll pass. I'm not much of a cotton candy guy.
I get one fry. I'm going to try one fry. I'm going to try
I would try one fry, but a basket full of that, man, oof.
And it's going to sell like crazy, too.
While we are on the topic of Blue Jays games, the Braves beat the Blue Jays 8-1 or 8-4, I think, last night. I don't know. The Braves beat the Blue Jays last night. We want to talk about Wiley Ballard getting a girl's number live on TV. It's been very polarized.
You either like it or he's getting roasted by some.
Do it.
I would say.
What'd he do?
He got a girl's number live on television on the Corona Plaza at the Blue Jays game. Maybe we can play the audio of it later in the hour.
I'm here for it.
People are very upset about this on social media.
If I did that and that was my job, I'd get roasted the hell out of.
Oh.
Think about it.
If he's single, if she's single, and it's just like getting a number at a bar. She could have told him. She could have embarrassed him.
Job.
But my thing is, I look at the other side. It's like she could have fully embarrassed. Like, hell no, you're not getting my number. Move, bucket.
Sure, but he still looks. I don't know. In the business I grew up in, and the rules that were kind of put out there, I would probably be in trouble for.
He got to his own defense though. He got encouraged to do it. So
that's the story. He got encouraged to do it.
He got encouraged to do it.
He did.
If his boss is saying go for it,
it was Brandon Gaudin, the play-by-play guy.
Was it really? Okay.
And I don't know what Gretchen Caney, the longtime producer of Braves television, was saying in his year.
And if they kept rolling with it, then they probably got the okay to do it.
I thought it was pretty funny.
I thought it was
Listen to it. Yeah.
I'm not saying it wasn't funny. I'm just saying in my day and age growing up in this business, I would have gotten
it wasn't
the axe for
if
that.
you were
but a
him. Oh, yeah, okay. All right, for sure. For sure. All right, yeah, well, news has gotten a whole lot looser these days.
Oh, yeah, it has. No, you're not wrong.
It was
social media.
I think it maybe I have a different perspective on it because I watched that broadcast so many times, but it fit right in line with things they do all the time. Like they're very off the cuff, conversational. They make fun of Wiley a lot. Of like what he's eating or like what he's drinking. And like he's kind of like the guy they just joke on all the time. So it kind of fit the voice of the broadcast.
Sure.
It's probably walking right up to the line. It doesn't cross the line for me. I don't have an issue with it. I really don't. I thought it was hilarious.
No, I thought it was funny. I just know in this day and age, like social is a bigger thing. And I feel like there's more risk taking in TV.
Yeah.
Than there was in the past. I'm from the old school.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
That's all I kind of know.
I thought it was spot on. I see her. I got a comment like Taylor Rooks right now in her interviews, though.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying.
It's a little bit different.
But that's
100%.
accepted where they are. I mean, they're encouraged to do that. And if that's the case and you can do it, then by all means.
Yeah, not that she's intentionally doing it. I think guys just fall over for her. But either way, it's a situation. I thought it was hilarious.
Jayhawk, what you got? Tuesday roast.
I've got a couple, but let's start with Colorado yesterday with the jersey retirement of Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. I don't understand it. So 2-12 going up in the rafters. Obviously, this is a Deion Sanders pool. His son, his wannabe son, 2 years. I mean, I don't really get it, but here we are anyways.
I'm with you on Shedeur. I'm not with you on Travis. Travis makes total sense to retire his jersey. Shedeur Sanders went 13-11 as a starting quarterback.
It could have waited.
The last name.
ABC always be recruiting. It's just recruiting. I mean, it's nothing to get outraged over. I think it's funny, but like it's just recruiting.
They keep themselves
Barstool
relevant.
Colorado State put out a tweet. They quote tweeted on Barstool's post on it, and they said 13-12 record, 0 conference championships, 93 YouTube videos. Very well deserved.
That's funny. I get it, but also I agree with you.
Yeah, I get it. Who's going to tell Deion no in Boulder?
No one.
Nobody.
He's
Absolutely
rejuvenated
nobody.
the program.
Yeah, they got to kiss the ring with Deion, right? I wouldn't have put Shedeur in it. Travis is highly justified.
Totally deserves it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
100%.
Two-way player, what he did, Heisman winner. I think
the Heisman in itself should absolutely do that one. 100%.
Justin, what else you got?
All right, I don't know if you guys are much on TikTok, but so John Gruden now works with Barstool. So he does these almost daily now, box openings from college programs, whether it be hockey, football, soccer, whatever. And he opens these boxes and gets all kinds of gear, whether it be jerseys, apparel, shoes, you name it. Well, he has the hardest time to open the dang box.
Oh.
So instead of using a box cutter, he rips it with his hands And now he has a deal with a knife company in order to open these boxes. He literally will struggle. It'll take him about half the video just to open the dang
That's
box.
great.
Oh, that's funny.
Boom.
So John
Roasted.
Gruden, come on, dude.
There it is.
Nice. Good stuff. Ramon, what you got?
Man, I got a couple quick ones. First one is for folks that hate someone, but also want to tell you they hate someone, don't get mad if I don't dislike that person too. That person may have been good to me. The fact that we have to group up to dislike someone because you dislike somebody and they've been good to me is by far one of the craziest scenarios you can ever put yourself into a situation. It was numerous times over this past week I've had people, well, I hate that person. Like, I actually like that person. Why do you hate them? They've been good to me. Are you the bad person?
Do you have any specifics to
I can't really
name
go
here?
on specifics in it, but it was super fascinating in watching that one. But I was just like, that is a very polarizing take that you have. That everybody likes that person. I need to start questioning you. So for the folks that like to play that game, I should hate them, so you should hate them, and we not family like that. Like if Ron Slay hates somebody, I hate them too. Okay, just so you know. All right, my wife hates you, I dislike you also. But if it's somebody in general, like that person sucks. Like, no, you suck as a human being. That's a decent guy over there. So Justin, boom, roast it real quick. Absolutely. And my second one, man, is just the scenario we're in right now. I've done it before, and I'm going to do it again real quick. I'm going to get on my box and get the heck off. Parents in sports. I love my boys. Mm-hmm. I love my nephews. I love my nieces that play in sports and stuff, too. Listen, we have a higher chance of potentially winning the lotto than we do sending our kids into the draft, all right? We got to back up. Lives are hurt. Feelings are hurt, especially if you are an authoritarian. And I'll even say to myself, my boy's going to listen to me.
Right.
But I'm also smart enough to remove myself from my boy's situation a lot of times. Some think I should actually be more intrusive to what my boys do, but I don't like to play that role with them. Fathers, mothers, uncles, aunties, don't ruin the game. Business is business. Trust me. If somebody comes to my boys and want to do an NIL and do all of this and, hey, propose this, we're going to run that race. We're going to figure out what's what. But educate yourselves. Don't put yourself in bad situation. Don't look to burden yourselves, okay, from what we're understanding around his cases or this Nico Iamaleava situation. Parents in sports, and we're about to start up travel baseball right now, has already started. Trust me, this 15 minutes that they have right now might be the last 15 minutes. I don't care if you buy them a $600 bat, $1,000 glove, and paying $5,500 a year for travel ball. You're not owed anything other than supporting your child in those moments right there. So all you families that overimpose yourself into trying to will your child into being a pro at a young age, boom, roasted.
And there you go. Yeah. And that was my first one as well. Nick Iamaleava gets roasted.
Yeah.
Calling Pete Nakos a B word that we're not allowed to say on the radio for correctly reporting that his son wanted a new contract. Roasted. Nick Iamaleava is the problem. We can say it out loud, honestly.
Yeah.
Mine goes to Greg Doyle. Did you guys see this? The same Indianapolis columnist that had an issue with Caitlin Clark with his very creepy comments of, we're glad you're here. Greg Doyle writes a column in IndyStar.com. Masters contender Bryson DeChambeau accepted $125 million from the alleged backers of 9/11. Nico Iamaleava sought additional millions from Tennessee. Which of these is okay with you and why? Buddy. Wow. Holy false equivalency. Look, the Iamaleava camp is not flawless in any of this. But let's please not equate that to taking $125 million from the Saudis to go to a whole different tour. It'd be one thing if Nico Iamaleava took $100 million to go to the equivalent of live college football, but that is not happening. We've got to be able to talk about these things like adults.
Right.
That is one of the wildest comparisons of apples to oranges that I have ever seen on a website that loves to compare two things that are not remotely similar. Greg Doyle roasted.
Take that.
Greg got a weird case. Why is he around?
I know, right? Greg Doyle.
Get out of here, man.
My next one goes to the University of North Carolina and Bill Belichick's girlfriend.
Oh, God, yes.
Did you guys see this story in The Athletic this morning?
Thank goodness you put this
So
in there.
Bill Belichick is mandating that his girlfriend be copied on emails due to social media and PR. So The Athletic obtained emails Friday through an open records request, and the 44 pages show a glimpse into how Jordan Hudson, Bill Belichick's girlfriend, who is about my age, dating the 72-year-old Belichick. She's 24, by the way, 3 years younger than me, is being CC'd on emails. So the longtime head of PR, Robbie Pickerel-Evans, North Carolina's Senior Associate Athletic Director for External Affairs and Strategic Communications, is now being asked to CC Jordan Hudson on emails, who is now advising them on how they run their social media, including encouraging them to block people from the North Carolina football page for slanderous commentary and harassing Bill in the comments. She asked that in an email on February the 13th. Look, you love who you love. I'm not going to get personal and say that Bill Belichick, shouldn't be whatever. That's weird to me, but you do you, man. CCing your girlfriend on emails, let PR people please do their jobs.
She's also walking out on the field in practice.
PR people are all around listening right now saying, thank you. The number one thing you should not let a PR person do is let someone else do their job. Bill Belichick in North Carolina, roasted. Yeah.
That is weird. Yeah. That is, I understand that. Do what you want if it's legal type of thing, but I don't care. That is weird.
I just see Bill.
That is weird.
Jordan's young. Let's get our perspective.
You sound like
Bane.
Bill.
Sure, she loves her Louis Vuittons.
I mean, at this point,
got the money.
She getting Birkin bags.
She's got 81,000 Instagram followers.
Louis was a starter bag for her in the dating phase.
Yeah, she is in the Birkin.
She in the
at this
Birkin.
point.
She got a Kelly bag. Do you understand me?
I don't even know what a Kelly is.
See, there we go.
Way out of that bracket.
There we go.
I'm not even in the Louis bracket.
We gonna start playing the lotto. We gotta change your trajectory, Kayla. We gotta hit this lotto, man. With that being said, Bill, she's closest to the dating age of your players, though. To that point, I
24.
honestly would keep her away.
Tyler Shuck, NFL draft prospect, is 25.
It's
Bill,
just crazy.
You should probably keep her out of the practice in that dress up she had.
Separation of church and state.
Yeah.
She had those boots walking on the field, and
you know what the players are saying? Would.
I don't even want to know. Yeah.
Would.
I don't even want to know.
That conversation in general is Bill is whipped right now.
For a coach that doesn't like distractions, that's a pretty big distraction to voluntarily have around.
I agree.
Bill reached his 70s and got whipped. That's what it was.
We're on to Cincinnati.
Yeah, we're on to Cincinnati at this point, man. Like, he need to go watch Friday and listen to Pops, okay? He whips, okay? Bill is getting whipped, is what I'm telling you.
By the way, how about Tony Vitello quoting Friday in his post-game press conference the other day, talking about Nico Iamaleava?
Oh, I didn't see that.
So the words Friday, well, you guys know the quote.
Yeah.
Bye, Felicia.
Bye, Felicia.
Yeah.
615-737-1045. You can roast somebody in sports. When we come back, an update on Tennessee's pursuit of an elite prospect on the hardwood coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster, Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Good people. They have been in business since 1990. Our family operated, man. Jimmy Hiller was recently named amongst the most admired CEOs because how he truly cares for his team and his client. I myself am a client, man. I truly believe in the work they've done around my house. It's never one of those repeat situations where they got to come back and fix something again. No, haven't run into that since I've been dealing with Hiller. This is a company that slogan is this: happy you'll be, the service is free. And they stand by that, man. Best part about it, no surprises when you get your bill. True transparency pricing, man. What this means is every part of the job is lined up front. So homeowners like myself and you can understand what you're paying for and the why. No surprises when you get your bill. If you have anything around your house, whether it be plumbing, heating, cooling, or electrical, reach out to the company I trust at happyhiller.com. The jewelry buying event everyone waits for is coming, man. It's April 25th, 26th, and 27th. It's Genesis Diamond's biggest event of the year. 3 days only. Unbelievable store-wide savings and up to 35% off some items. And the selection is like double the norm, too, with top bridal designers coming in showcasing all new collections. Beautiful, one-of-a-kind pieces, including all new engagement ring mountings. It's more jewelry than you've ever seen in one place at prices you've never thought possible, too. From rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, bands, stunning fashion jewelry that you won't find anywhere else. Check out thousands of engagement ring settings in gold and platinum. Also, get special pricing on natural as well as lab-grown diamonds, too. This is an event where Genesis staff know they can break all the rules. So if you have any special event coming up, engagement, anniversary, birthdays, new baby, whatever, graduation is right around the corner, too. This is a spectacular event to get that amazing gift at a huge discount. Store-wide savings up to 35%. Special financing, too, is April 25th, 26th, and 27th at Genesis Diamonds. They're located in Green Hills and Cool Springs.
RKW brewed by Scooters Coffee on 104.5. The Zone rolls on. You can roast anyone in sports at 615-737-1045. Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, and Will Bowling. Jason Swain coming up in a half hour here on the program. Let's go to Chris next up. Who you got to roast, Chris?
Hey, what's going on, gentlemen? So I'm going to preface this by saying I served over 25 years in the United States Army. Been deployed a bunch of times. So when I say this, I'm going to put some emphasis on respect. I was a fan, when I was younger, man. I bleed orange, I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. Don't take it against me. But I'm not that wrapped up in it where when someone makes a decision or a team, fails or doesn't, win, that I ultimately go to disrespect. The name calling, Nico's, she made a decision. So be it. Why are we being so disrespectful? I've seen some of the names he's been called within this chat. I've seen some of the names throughout the media, man. Y'all, it does it hurt y'all that much that y'all got to go to that level of disrespect when it comes to an athlete because he's a part of your team? Does it hurt you that much that you have to go out and say these cruel, insensitive things about another human being? Listen, I've seen death. I see enough death that I can look and tell you this. It's not that serious. Man, be a human first, man. Y'all getting on my nerves with this here, man.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate the call.
I'll let y'all go.
Yep. I think it's a fair point.
Yeah.
Hold on. What was this whole point again?
The point was the people going at Nico and calling him names and going after him personally for making the decision that he made.
Oh, it's to the people that was doing that because I feel like we've cleared Nico of any kind of
Yeah, he's
fault
just
in
saying
this.
the chat's been a little bit wild today, and people in the media, not us particularly, but you don't have to go as far as to call him names and put nasty things,
I saw some even going at their culture because I spoke about how their culture is in a sense, right? Like,
don't
you
go
listen,
there.
and a lot of people's households are like that. Like, it ain't just their culture. Like, when dad speak, mom speak. When my mama spoke to us, we listen. Well, no other way around it, too. And that's just how it goes when it comes to how your family dynamic is set up. Like, I will continually say, from people that I know is reporting close to Nico, he didn't want this. Right? So I feel like we've cleared it, but there's also been folks coming to us, y'all are not going to say anything about Nico. No, we're not. Not in this situation. I heard my wife was telling somebody was like, oh, y'all going to skate, not say anything about Nico or blame him too? In this situation, no.
Is it a great look? No. Was the timing bad? Yes.
Yeah.
Should he have, wanted to get in this situation, this day and age in college, more money? Yeah, that's his right. But
the system allows that.
It all couldn't have been a worse situation, the way that it played out.
And it's the timing of this one, this time of year too.
It's a big part of it.
You got fans who are emotional about their fan base. Heck, it happens with the Titans, it happens with the Steelers, it happens with the Vols, Bama, and anybody else. But it's just a new world that we live in sports that kids now, young men and women, are being criticized because of the monies that they bring in.
And you're right. Nico needs to have an agent. He doesn't need his dad, in my opinion, at least handling that part at this point of how it is in college. I mean, you need a real agent. And that's the other problem. They don't, it's not like in the books that you have to have agents right now in college.
There's no.
Right. There's nothing to say you can or can't do that.
No guidelines to it.
Exactly.
I've heard of guys having their girlfriends be their agents and negotiators because they got certain degrees of work for certain people before. Like, this is the world that you're working in. It's
tricky.
Now. It's real tricky, Will.
I think on the list of people to blame for the Nico saga, Nico's not even number one and maybe not even number two.
Not even two.
Right.
I think it's the family advisor and the dad who are most to blame for the situation we are in today. And Nico needs to be held accountable for allowing those people to dictate his life. But again, the cultural differences coming from his background and the respect that you have for a father figure and for a parent figure, I'm not going to pretend like I know what that is like practically. That is a different kind of background and family dynamic that Ramon spoke about yesterday that I do think is a relevant part of this story. And I don't think that's being soft on anything. I think it's just electing to take a human perspective and attack a human being who is 20 years old for mistakes, I think, of his dad. I think his dad is the one to blame for a lot of this. Nico Iamaleava.
So, old Army guy, I'm going to name him, put in there, he's a professional athlete now, criticizing him as fair game on his play.
His play,
And I think
his business.
criticizing some of his business decisions is fine. I'm talking about personal attacks on him and saying he's wearing a dress and all these things and
we can't
some of the stuff that has gone too far because professional athletes, I don't think should have to deal with that either. So he's a professional athlete. He's also a human being.
Who in this room or in this chat or callers actively talk bad to their dads or their parents to this day? Nobody.
Not me.
You still respect the heck out of your dad.
Absolutely.
Kayla, I know you do.
Yeah.
Like, even as mine wasn't even as present.
Right.
And I still have a respect factor for him.
Yeah.
I'm not going to cuss around him. I'm not going to cuss him out. I'm not going to tell him, shut up, this is my thing. Now, if I'm married with kids and, hey, this is my business, we got a different conversation. Right. Or if Nico had inherited this bread by himself, I will say this, for the guys that go into that world as professionals, as young men, a lot of them do become the apex of their families, where decisions are made through the money maker. They're dynamic, and I'll be the same with mine. Hey, one of my boys, my youngest, wanted like this iced out chain one time. Like in the mall. It wasn't a real one, nothing like that. It's just some jewelry, right? Yeah, can I have one of them? You know, everybody wears it in their sports these days, specifically baseball players. And I was like, no. I was like, you'll get your scholarship in NIL. We'll have a conversation.
Sure.
Am I wrong to tell my kid no when he might have the allowance to play for a fake chain or something like that? No, that's our operation as a family. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
And they move.
We all live that life.
Right. The Polynesian culture, too, y'all, like they usually move with their sons or maybe daughters, let's say in the case for sports. They move. Like, so they're bringing the whole family. Yeah, absolutely. This is that's another thing.
Nico is not free from blame and from accountability, but it is the personal side of it that I think has gone, for many people. You look hard enough on the internet, you're always going to find things that are vile and ridiculous. But certainly in this case, too, I do think there is a list of people at fault for this, and Nico is not number one and probably not even number two either. 615-737-1045. In case you were hanging on for the headline we were going to get to in that last conversation. Rick Barnes made an in-person visit with five-star forward Nate Ament on Monday as Tennessee continues its pursuit of one of the best possible recruits in the history of Tennessee basketball. The number 2 small forward in the class, the number 1 prospect out of the state of Virginia. On 3 has him the number 3 player in the country. He told reporters over the weekend he would likely make a decision in the next week or two. His final 5, Tennessee, Duke, Louisville, Arkansas, and Kentucky. People on this show, reputable reporters saying that Tennessee is very much in the mix. Personally, I will believe it when I see it when they beat Duke for a player like this, but we will see.
Interesting.
We will see. Would be a game changer for Tennessee for 2025. Coming up, I know we have talked about the draft too much based on one thing. I just saw a reporter say that a coach told them about quarterbacks in the NFL, and we'll do that next.
9:02 from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. Good morning. I'm Justin Hawkins. In the NFL this morning, per Ian Rappaport and Tom Pelissero of NFL Network, the Miami Dolphins and 7-time Pro Bowl cornerback Jalen Ramsey are mutually set to explore trade options. Ramsey played in all 17 games and registered 2 interceptions last season. He's due $25.1 million in fully guaranteed money, but the Dolphins have already paid $4 million in a roster bonus. So of that $25.1, a new team only needs to pick up $21.1. And in Titans news, they are expected to host visits of Missouri wide receiver Luther Burden, Tennessee wide receiver Dante Thornton, and Texas defensive tackle Vernon Broughton today. In hockey, the Nashville Predators fall 7-3 against the Utah Hockey Club last night at Bridgestone Arena. The Predators will play their season finale tomorrow night at Bridgestone Arena against the Dallas Stars with puck drop at 7 p.m. And in the NBA, the playing games are tonight. In the East, the 7-seeded Orlando Magic host the 8-seeded Atlanta Hawks to start at 6:30. And in the West, the 7-seeded Golden State Warriors host the 8-seeded Memphis Grizzlies and Ja Morant. Tip-off is at 9. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you've got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
RKW on 104.5 The Zone rolls into the fourth and final hour on this Tuesday. 615-737-1045, the number. You got locations at White House, Mount Juliet, Rivergate, Smyrna, and Brentwood of Scooters Coffee. Make sure you get that mobile app today to order ahead and save $2 off your first mobile order. I know there is always a point when draft dialogue has just gone too far. It's time to just end it. Sometimes I feel like with the NFL draft, we need like the Elam ending in basketball, where there's just a day when we all get tired of talking about it. We just have the draft. Just go ahead and do it.
I feel that.
I was probably there at the end of March. Diana Rossini tweets this out this morning. I'm not taking a shot at Diana. I'm taking a shot at one NFL coach who told her he would take Tyler Shuck over Cam Ward.
Okay. No.
Diana Rossini putting out a new YouTube episode of her show Scoop City saying, Tyler Shuck has met with a host of NFL teams leading up to the NFL draft, including the Saints, Giants, and others. Quote, one NFL coach even told me he'd take him over Cam Ward.
Okay.
You know who that coach is? A coach with an established quarterback already.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Let me say this. I'll play the game real quick. Tyler Shuck being put in a situation where he can automatically be successful, right? Where you can get your 4 or 5 years out of a second-round draft pick at this point to settle what you think his, I guess, attributes are as a quarterback. If there's a team that's already built for a guy that fits the skill set of a guy like Tyler Shuck, yeah. But the reason you're drafting Cam Ward is because your team isn't in that position right now as the Tennessee Titans. Right. So that's one of them situations. That coach, I guarantee, sleeps well at night with his franchise starting quarterback right now. Absolutely.
I mean, yeah, and maybe a backup. You know, like a situation where
he said
like,
over Cam.
I know,
which means starter.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, that means starter. Kayla, he talking about numero uno.
Crazy.
That quarterback coach.
But he has some connection with Shuck.
Is picking 32nd. Okay, he's picking 32nd. That is that sounds a little bit of agent driven. That sounds a little.
Yeah.
Hey, how can we muddy the waters to drive content up a little bit too? And that GM may have been very sincere. But that's not a real moment.
Not necessarily a GM, just one NFL coach. So, I don't know.
I'm trying to think of the resources. That's probably Vrabel telling. I would have taken them. No, I kid.
Oh my
I kid.
goodness.
I kid. That's
Crazy.
super fascinating, though.
Absolutely
I like Shuck,
crazy.
but I don't like him that
I wish
much.
we could know like these sources.
These sources, that's the reason they are in the industry,
That's why
man.
books get written 20 years later.
Well,
Exactly.
yeah, that's true too.
That's why they get sold. Reporting from earlier yesterday afternoon and more this morning, I guess not really anything new this morning, but Nico Iamaleava expected to land at UCLA or Tulane based on the early reports of who is interested. North Carolina is out. I just saw longtime television reporter and says in his bio, 15-year AP college football poll voter, Garland Gillen, TV reporter in New Orleans, says chances of Nico Iamaleava landing at Tulane are 0.
Oh, there you go.
Wow.
That's his, I guess, reporting. I don't know if that's a report per se or
He's
just what he thinks.
Pretty connected there, too, to that area.
I think it's UCLA at this point for
I do
Nico.
too. And I don't think it's going to be the 4 whatever million he wanted.
Yeah.
UCLA does. I know you say they have donors, and you're right, but they're also in a heap of. In terms of their program right now, it's not great.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if they're just going to hand over 4.
Well, that's not their money though that they're handing over. It's going to be donor money. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
it's the collective.
I don't think it's the greatest.
What sucks though is this. They had an in at UCLA with the brother being committed there.
His brother Madden, who was originally committed there and then decommitted and flipped to Arkansas on the first signing day in December.
And that would have been, we're talking about brother to brother in the sense of how they were going to really take over. Like they finished 3-6. I'm looking at it right now in the Big Ten last year.
They were 14th in the Big Ten.
Yeah, 14th in the Big Ten.
What a funny sentence.
I know. UCLA being in the Big Ten. I get it. The dollars is there, though. Here's a portion of it, too, to the point about the money that may or may not be there as far as their NIL collective go. They could get to a point where they could try to spend, but they missed that window in December. They missed that window with recruiting, finishing out their recruiting class.
Market's dried up.
Right? The market's dried up. We're talking about a 3-6 conference record from a team that's barely above Wisconsin, Northwestern, Maryland, and Purdue. Like, that's a long stretch. And I've just never known consistently that UCLA is a football school. Hoops, Olympic sports.
They used to be a good football school.
That's what I said.
Back in the day.
Not consistently being that type of team to where they want to overspend like that. Like, I'm not sure, Kayla, you're definitely more in tune to the West Coast than I am, but like the idea that they got more things to do than just go to football games on Saturdays.
It's a real thing. Absolutely, 100%. Especially in the LA area. That's why I always joke about the Dodgers. I'm like, that's just when they're good, they're good. The Lakers, when they're good, they're good. And that's when people come. Yeah. But no, honestly, that's how it is there with a lot of, because there's so much else to do.
Yeah.
But that program has just taken such a big step backwards. And even if Nico goes there and even if he gets paid, guys, that talent is not what it was at Tennessee.
Yeah.
That's not the talent that's surrounding him.
Yeah.
The $4 million that Nico could even get, let's just say UCLA matches the $4 million price that the Iamaleavas want. With taxes, isn't that about what he was getting at Tennessee?
Sure.
And that's if he gets $4 million. If UCLA just matches Nico's price, if UCLA matches Nick Iamaleava's price, not Nico, I will make it Nico. If they match the Iamaleava campus, Andy Stables is calling it Team Nico.
Yeah.
If they match Tennessee's price, he's making less money to go to UCLA to play for a worse team than Tennessee.
I think so.
This is an all-time bag fumbling by Team Nico, if that happens. Now, if he goes somewhere and gets a raise, sure, maybe you played it right. I'll believe it when I see it. I don't see a scenario where Nico Iamaleava makes more at a new place than he was going to get at Tennessee this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, too, you can look at two scenarios that are somewhat playing out very similar. Jaden Rashada that said he was promised $14 million from Florida. Got on campus and that deal wasn't real. I do think this one's a little bit different because Nico allegedly, Nico had cash in hand and chose to go find more.
He was paid out millions of dollars as a Tennessee quarterback already.
Yeah.
Including 1 year to sit behind Joe Milton.
Exactly. And got the bag, too, still behind that because that's what they pay you for your projection and value of what you were supposed to get. Like, it's a messy situation that the NCAA is in right now, specifically on how the NILs and them don't affect the product on the field. And that, to me, I'm not sure where because I think this has way too many moving parts than what the NFL does at this point.
Now, speaking of the NFL, too, guys, I mean, Nico at some point wants to go to the NFL. Isn't that the end-all, be-all for these players is they want to be an NFL quarterback?
Usually.
I don't know if this necessarily helps his path quickly to get there, if you ask me.
I mean, if he balls out, I don't think teams will be as much discussing it as we are in this line of business.
But if he balls out, that's the big thing, Will.
It's going to get harder now to be that guy in a system you're learning in May with probably lesser talent.
talent.
Yeah. He may have to play an extra year of college football because of this. And he may be the type that goes to a G5 for 1 year and then has to come back to the SEC for a desperate SEC program in 2026 for the draft as a redshirt junior.
Yeah.
That's the best case scenario for Team Nico at this point.
And you know he can play. The talent is there.
Sure.
So, and to be real with you, I think it may do him better if he goes to, well, you said Tulane has been reported to be out on that one,
well,
too.
It's one TV person there in New Orleans saying, I think the chance of this is 0.
Okay. Yeah. If he goes, I thought the one thing that he didn't do last year as a starter, for the folks that want us to blame Nico, I didn't think he elevated too many folks.
Sure.
Vandy game, the catch down the middle of the end zone, that was, I thought
Miles
more
Kitselman.
receiver than it was him. He hasn't, in my opinion, in his 1 year of starting, elevated many to where we look at other guys that are perceived to be good, right? Like, what's his name at Florida?
DJ Lagway.
DJ Lagway. You saw him look like he was going to make everybody better. Lenore Sellers, Arch Manning. Like, we say we want to as far as like having to go see it, but you feel more confident in those 3 guys pulling people to the end zone.
Right.
Than you did with him in year 1 as a starter.
And that's what you hoped you were going to see, because with that younger wide receiver core this year, and maybe with him having
I think the wide receiver core this year, Kayla, is going to be better. I think it's better talent.
And
it's not as deep.
Right, and he could have had maybe some of that now to take from him, though. Like, hey, I helped elevate these guys if he were here this year. And, it's not going to happen now. Like, you don't have that chance.
Can't wait to hear Swain part on it, man, the Hall of Famer himself.
Andy Staples wrote a column this morning saying the secret to avoiding a Nico Tennessee mess is hidden in Kirby Smart's rant about the state of college football. Quote, we don't know exactly what's going to come out of this. What I do know is that we're going to continue to recruit people who love football, who are passionate about football, and that don't put money as the number one answer. I've never met a really good player where that's all they cared about. Hit the nail on the head.
Mm-hmm.
Coaches' abilities to look a player, a parent, and a team in the eye and know what their intentions are has never been more important. That has always been a part of the equation for coaches, because players have been getting paid for a long time. It's just legal now. We know about it. But a coach's ability to look you in the eye and know, do you love football? Do you love getting paid? Is important. Clearly, Nico's camp cared more about getting paid. Coming up next, Jason Swain, Vol for Life, and now Huntsville and Madison County Hall of Famer joins us next. RKW Brew by Scooters Coffee on 104.5 The Zone continues on this gorgeous Tuesday in the Music City. Crew is all here in studio and streaming live on 104.5 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. Joining us this morning, he is a Vol for Life. He is on the Vol Network with Ramon Foster, and he is a Hall of Famer in the Huntsville-Madison County Athletic Hall of Fame. We welcome Jason Swain this morning. Swain, congrats, man. How are you?
Hey, thank you. What's up, team? Good morning, man.
How we doing?
Jason?
What up,
I'm great.
Swayze?
It's a great way to start the
man.
morning.
You make it back?
Hey, I did about 6 a.m. I left around 2, got back around 6, man.
Oh,
So
wow.
We floating this morning, man.
Well, we appreciate you joining us,
Yeah,
John.
wow. Thank you.
You could be sleeping.
Congratulations, man. I know, like, being a hometown hero is one thing, but to actually get celebrated for it, Swain, did it hit you yet, man? Did it actually happen?
It's a process, Ramon. I mean, honestly, man, when I left Alabama, I didn't think they were ever going to want me to come back, to be honest. Because, that was a time when, Tennessee was right there in the middle of Alabama getting in trouble. When you leave the state, they kind of forget about you. And so when I got the phone call that I was going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, man, it just meant a lot. I thought about all the people that helped me, get to that point. My teammates, my coaches, counselors, teachers, people that had some hard conversations with me, my family. It was really all about making them proud. And man, last night it was a time where it hit me that, hey, I did that. I actually made people around me proud. So my family was there, my kids was there, and it was really cool to see the look in their eyes as they watched their father be celebrated.
So cool, man.
awesome, man.
Well deserved. And again, congratulations to Jason Swain, who joins us this morning. Madison County Huntsville Athletic Hall of Fame. Really good stuff yesterday. So, Swain, with the Nico Iamaleava saga over the weekend, as a former player, as somebody who has run through the T and represented this program, what was your initial reaction when Nico missed practice and on what Tennessee needed to do moving forward?
My initial reaction probably doesn't need to be described on the SEC airwaves this morning. I was not happy with. At the end of the day, I think there's always a better way than just not showing up and not communicating with your coaches and not communicating with your teammates. Even though there was some talk that he had let a few guys know over the last few days that he wasn't going to be there. I just thought the whole way he was handled was Bush League. And, listen, I know guys got to get money, and I want everybody to get as much money as possible, man. I love when people get paid because I like getting paid myself, but I just think there's a way to handle every situation the right way. And that camp did not handle things the right way. I was on Nico Watch Friday morning. I had heard some whispers about the last couple of weeks and months and what kind of transpired between the two sides, and there was a possibility he wouldn't go to practice. But I was just like, man, I just couldn't imagine someone skipping practice, let alone a quarterback. I mean, we're talking a quarterback, a leader of the team, deciding, no, I'm not going to go to practice the day before the orange and white game. So obviously, I wasn't thrilled about it, but I was pretty excited about the response from the university, the football program, and more importantly, the players. Guys like Miles Kitzelman stepping forward, being vocal, taking this as a challenge for these guys to come together and get through. And plus, guys, there's a heck of an opportunity for a transfer quarterback out there to not only make some money, but fill a role that guys like Josh Dobbs, Hendon Hooker did a great job of filling over the last couple of years. Joe Milton. I mean, the list goes on and on. There's a huge void, and playing quarterback at the University of Tennessee means something more than just handing the ball off and throwing it.
So, Swain, how optimistic are you that Tennessee can attract a maybe starting quarterback, if someone in a quarterback battle that maybe is on the wrong end of it this spring? Like, what kind of expectations do you think should we set for who Tennessee can get in this spring portal at QB?
y'all, this is like new territory. This is awkward territory.
Right.
I do think this is a very attractive opportunity for, a quarterback out there, but that's going to require a quarterback to leave their team. Now, hopefully they just won't decide not to show up at practice, but hopefully they do it kind of the right way, which, hey, it's still weird. What is the right way? But you're going to have a quarterback get into the portal after the spring and basically leave their team at, inconvenient time. And that's what it's going to take. I think there are quarterbacks out there that will get paid a lot of money because they'll be able to use Tennessee as leverage to maybe get a new deal. I think about what Mike Gundy did to Tennessee a couple different times during the coaching search. There's going to be some quarterbacks that get a chance to get a bump up in pay, but there's also going to be some quarterbacks that will look at Tennessee and decide to move. Hopefully it's someone that can bring the level of production, if not more, that Nico did. And you got to think about the future, too, with your quarterbacks. Do you want a multi-year guy, where it may affect your young quarterbacks and maybe some quarterbacks coming in? Do you want a veteran guy, a one-and-done type of guy? Leadership is very, very important. I mean, Nico's very talented, but I wouldn't put him in the big-time leadership category. So you want to bring someone in that has the ability to attract his teammates, move his teammates to action, be a great leader by example. So Tennessee has to be very, very careful and do a due diligence, which I think they will.
Jason Swain with us this morning, man, our teammate here. Jason, when it come down, call you Jason. Swain, when it comes down to the optics of what a starter is for this team moving forward, why are we looking outside, and why is it not okay to go with either Merklinger or McIntyre at quarterback right now?
Ramon, they too young, man. They that's a lot of pressure. That's a lot. Listen, they may go out there and be awesome. Don't get me wrong, but you're one injury away from having the lemon booty, like really being nervous as all get out. And these guys are inexperienced. I mean, neither one of these guys have played a significant snap in a significant game. So you got to do what's best for you to protect yourself. That doesn't mean you don't have confidence in Georgia's game. It's the reason why he's here, okay? It doesn't mean that you don't have confidence in Jake Merklinger's game. You have a ton of respect for Jake Merklinger. Here's a guy that didn't care about the deal that Nico got, didn't care about all the lights that was on Nico. He believed in himself. He betted on himself. He loved Tennessee. He was coming anyways. And so here he is in the position to take the job. And it's right there for him. I mean, he has the advantage. But if you're Tennessee, you got to protect yourself too. And so I think it's very, very important for Tennessee to bring in another quarterback, because what if these two guys are not necessarily ready from an experience standpoint? So you believe in their talent, and they may be ready, but they may not be. And if they're not, you have to have someone in there that can give you a chance to win as well.
See, I'm with you on that point, but I'm also looking at it in a separate situation. But there would be a lot of people clamoring and rooting for David Sanders Jr. to win the tackle position. Now, my point is they're going to have to do it regardless at some point. And I remember a day where it could just be the young, hot guy coming in and take the job away. I'm looking at Brent Schaefer and Eric Ainge's situation just a little bit different. Is it just that we don't trust these athletes these days a little bit more? Like, is the focus not on the sport, the skill not there? What's to separate and believing that my freshman that I believe that was a French 5-star is not ready or not good enough?
Well, you bring up Brent Schaefer, Eric Ainge. There was two other quarterbacks that you could have fell on, and Rick Clausen and C.J. Leak. And so you brought in Brent Schaefer in 2004. You brought in Eric Ainge, and you had Rick, and you had C.J. Leak, and those four battled during the spring. And Coach Fulmer said, all right, well, we have that insurance policy with the older players. We know they know ball. We know we can fall back on them. Let's see how ready Ainge is. Let's see how ready Brent Schaefer is. And they were. I remember that fall camp, man. Brent Schaefer was running around looking like Michael Vick, making plays. Haynes was throwing the ball, hitting receivers in stride. They didn't look like normal freshmen. So it made you feel good about moving forward with the young guys. We got two young dudes right now, Ramon. And the days of being able to have 3 and 4 quarterbacks on your roster like we had before, man, those days are over because guys are hitting the transfer portal. Guys are wanting to go and get playing time. So, again, I go back to what could happen. You're one injury away, Ramon. One injury away. When's the last time Tennessee's went through the season without a quarterback missing some time? Hendon missed time. Joe Milton was hurt throughout his career. I mean, we've had guys get hurt at the quarterback position, and you got to have someone in there that can come in and at least hold the fort down and give you a chance to win games. So I get what you're saying. You want to give those dudes confidence. You want to let them know the opportunity is right now for you, but you got to protect yourself too, Ramon. You got to bring someone else in just in case.
We've got Jason Swain on. You can catch him on the Vol Network every Saturday with our own Ramon Foster here. So when it comes to bringing in that quarterback, Jason, and you played on the offensive side of the ball, realistically, how tough is it now that spring has come and gone and you got a little bit of time before the season, obviously, but you've got to get on the same page as, your guys, your wide receivers. And when it comes to this offense in particular, can that happen quickly?
It can. It depends on what quarterback you get and his personality. You bring in a Baker Mayfield type, a guy that has the ability to kind of bring everyone together. Listen, I'm not telling everyone that he needs to come in and start dancing in the locker room like Baker Mayfield, but he needs to have the ability to build relationships quickly because you're not going to have that much time. Like Joe Milton came here right after the orange and white game in Josh Heupel's first season and was able to be a starter. But you think about what's needed with this team. This is a young team. So leadership is something that is more important for that quarterback coming in now than it was when Joe Milton came in. So when you're talking to quarterbacks and you're doing your research on the personality of quarterbacks, not only just their physical traits, but their ability to lead and their personality, you have to bring in someone that can come in and say, all right, guys, we're throwing today. Bring it up. No coaches. I got the playbook. I got the route combinations we're going to work on. We're throwing today. And that guy commanding, the participation of his teammates when you don't have designated practice time, when you don't have workouts that are put together by the coaches. You need someone that's going to come in and say, all right, man, we're doing this on our own. And I think the personality is very, very important. You can't have a guy that comes in and is passive with their leadership abilities like a younger quarterback would do.
We spoke about this earlier on our show this morning, Jason, and it could be a great opportunity at that because Tennessee is such a passionate fan base, and it's almost like Nico didn't complete his duties here, and so the shoes aren't too big to fill at this moment. You could have a quarterback come in and really take hold of the moment, right, with this particular fan base and just the organization as a team.
Hey, I think the shoes are always big to fill here at Tennessee. When you play quarterback, I mean, when you think about the guys that played the position before you, I mean, when you think about Heath Shula, you think about T. Barton and Casey Clausen. You think about those guys, and Nico didn't fill those shoes not because he didn't have the talent, but because he didn't understand the power of the position and what it takes to be a winner. And it's not all his fault. Like this is a lose-lose situation for all parties. Like Tennessee lost, Nico lost, everyone lost here. But if you're going to get someone that, again, understands what it means to be a quarterback at Tennessee, that comes in with the physical ability, it'd be great if he's mobile, making all the throws. But you need someone that can match Miles Kitselman's energy. Because, Ramon, you saw it over the weekend.
Yeah.
Miles Kitselman is ready to lead this team. He was not happy about what happened on Friday. If you bring in a quarterback that can match Miles Kitselman's energy, you got a chance to be okay. maybe even better at the quarterback position, honestly.
Swain, is there anyone on your quarterback wish list for Tennessee? Fans are obsessed with Avery Johnson at Kansas State. That Avery Johnson ain't happening. I'm just going to tell Tennessee fans right now.
Why is
I will
that?
be shocked if Avery Johnson, he's a Kansas kid at Kansas State in a perfect situation. There's been message board posts about Sawyer Robertson at Baylor. There's people that want Sam Levitt, Arizona State. What's the profile of quarterback, Swain, you think is realistic for Tennessee?
Well, you're trying to get me in trouble.
Pretty much.
You starting stuff with.
I have a second question prepared for you if you want to plead the fifth, but I was going to at least give you the opportunity.
Well, earlier I said there's some quarterbacks out there that's going to leverage this opportunity to get paid more. And there's going to be some schools that they're not going to let Tennessee come in there and take one of their quarterbacks. I think every quarterback, every school around the country is ready. I mean, they got their gloves on. They got their armor on. They are ready to go to war for Tennessee. They're not going to let someone come in. And you look at, Avery out there at Kansas State, who you just mentioned, a Kansas kid. You think they're going to just let him go? You better be prepared for battle. So I just want a quarterback that can make all the throws, that can lead. I mean, I think the leadership component is so important. I would love it if he's mobile, but I think the leadership component of this is so very important. That's what this locker room needs. Offensively, guys, this team is young. When you look at the leadership and you look at who could potentially go and represent Tennessee at SEC Media Days, before the Nico stuff, it was Nico and Miles Kinselman. Now it's just Miles Kinselman. Mm-hmm. This offense is young, so they need someone that has a personality and a leadership qualities to really, really fit in and take this offense and move forward. So that's my wish list. No specific name or anything like that, but I just think you need someone that fits, point blank, period.
Well done. I'm not trying to get you in trouble, Swain.
Portal opens tomorrow. You expect a lot of traffic, Swain? What's the vibes that you're getting out of Knoxville with the team right now?
Well, I mean, if you're hyper, you want to make sure that no one enters that you don't want to enter. Yeah. Sometimes there's some guys that you don't care they enter. You pretend like you upset. Oh no, man, we're so disappointed because we're losing you. But deep down, you're like, man, good, man. You sorry anyway. So I mean, there may be some guys like that. But if you're Josh Heupel, you don't want to lose anybody that you really, really want. Yeah. And that's kind of what you need to be focused on since Friday. Obviously, there were some reports in December about a receiver that may or may not have gotten to the portal or was going to get into the portal based on what Nico's going to do. You got to make sure you keep all those guys and then add to your roster. Another thing about the quarterback position, are you going to pay $3 million, $4 million for a quarterback, or are you going to say, all right, let's pay less, use that money to bring in defensive tackle, bring in wide receiver? I think you can make the case it's important that Tennessee needs to bring in multiple dudes on the outside, at least one. So how are you going to use that money to bring in help on the offense, something to watch too?
He is Jason Swain, and he is a Hall of Famer in the Huntsville-Madison County Athletic Hall of Fame. VFL, Vol Network, Josh and Swain of the Sports Animal, where you hear him. Always good to catch up with you, friend. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Swizzy.
Thanks, Swain.
Hey, man, love y'all. Y'all keep doing y'all's thing, man.
Yes, sir. You as well. Jason Swain with us here this morning.
That was solid.
Very cool.
I would love to be wrong about Avery Johnson. I would be very, very, very surprised if he left Kansas State.
There's no attachment to Kansas State as far as interacting with them. You don't play anybody from their conference. Mm-hmm. You don't schedule them. You don't see them. Sometimes you can do a crime and just go about your business. This is what this would be.
Young man from Mays, Kansas.
It would be him spreading his wings.
And I
mean, he's the best case scenario to me.
Right.
But I would be stunned. Never say never, but I will say never.
But it's also, he's in a position where this could mean a raise for him too.
Yeah, I think he'll get a raise from Kansas State.
Yeah, his folks need to be talking right
I think Sam Levitt will get a raise from Arizona State. Right. I think Sawyer Robertson will get a raise from Baylor. To me, I'm shopping in the Big 12. There are a lot of Big 12 offenses that are similar to what you are running. That's the first place I would look is Big 12 quarterbacks and ACC quarterbacks. But Big 12 because of the systems. That's where I would start if I was Tennessee.
And what's crazy, though, is like those fans, that's going to be crap for them too. That's going to be
That's the
crap
thing
for
is
that
that
program too.
if you have any
know?
level of love for the program that you would then be leaving, you're also leaving. Like if Avery Johnson left Kansas State, he'd be leaving them in a really bad situation. And so there is a double-edged sword to that they don't have a lot of time to then go get a replacement.
That's what I was saying earlier. It's filthy.
That's what the money's for, as you like to say.
So filthy,
Coming up, we mentioned it earlier, but we will get to it now. Rory McIlroy with an awesome quote on what his caddy told him before the playoff hole, before he won the Masters. Great stuff we'll listen to next.
Two Rivers Ford announces employee pricing for everyone. Every tradesman, every dad, every rising star. You pay what we pay. Two Rivers Ford. Locally owned. American made.
Is your concrete in need of a repair? Maybe your sidewalk is shifting, your driveway is cracked and sinking, or your porch steps, maybe they've moved on you. Shifting concrete can create a dangerous situation and just trip hazard around your home. It's also just a big eyesore. Shimon Foster, and whatever is wrong with your concrete, call United Structural Systems. Ask them about their polyurethane foam injections. You've heard about USS for a long time. It's the same company that's provided superior foundation repair and waterproofing to Middle Tennessee since 1994. Well, guess what? They can fix your sunken or settling concrete too. USS uses polyurethane foam injections to lift and repair sinking concrete in a matter of minutes. Lifted concrete can be walked on immediately or even driven on after 30 minutes. So don't go through that long, expensive process of ripping out and replacing concrete. Reach out to the company I trust at USSTN.com. That's USSTN.com, or call them 615-488-7855.
RKW 104.5 The Zone, brewed by Scooters Coffee. As we wrap up the show, final call for phone calls, 615-737-1045. Coming up tomorrow, Rhett Bryan in studio in the 9 a.m. hour, and Stephen Godfrey at 8 a.m. We'll talk college football with us in studio. Talking about Nico Iamaleava. He had a podcast called, or still has, it's out there, you can listen to it, Who Killed College Football? Feels like a future episode is being made in real time. With the Nico Iamaleava saga. That is not over because he didn't have a home yet and Tennessee doesn't have a quarterback yet. In addition to Jake Berklinger and George McIntyre.
Yeah. Wild couple of weeks we're going to have here.
Brandon is up next on the phones this morning. Hey, Brandon.
Hey, guys. How are y'all?
Great.
Good morning.
Hey, so I posted a post on Facebook and on my Instagram and everything, and it was, of course, the picture of, Heupel, and it says at the end of the day, no one's ever bigger than the program. That includes me too. And so I said, and this is where the NIL has destroyed college football, but that's okay because Heupel is him. And hopefully Nico doesn't go somewhere and destroys his career. So now, I think that Nico should be banned from college football.
Oh, no.
Because it's coming out that, he was taking, I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. He was taking offers before the Ohio State game. And, there's rumors that he was told to pull out before the Ohio State game. And to me, that sounds like, he blew the game.
Thank you, Brandon. Appreciate the call.
He also blew his helmet, too.
Yeah. He didn't.
He blew his helmet.
He did not blow the game.
Oh, if that was his plan, he got their lick. Hey, the football gods got their lick back.
Nico, good luck proving that Nico broke any rule that a ton of other players haven't also broken and looking for another place to go. No, nobody's getting banned from college football.
Football guys got their lick back that day.
Thank you,
He
Brandon.
says ban him.
Yeah, ban them. Oh, that's tough.
That would be a tough one.
Kayla, that's a toughie.
Yeah.
I don't know if we
I'm not
can.
gonna
I
go
feel
that
you,
far.
though, Brandon. I know where you coming from.
Lucas can tell you all about match fixing in Italian soccer when the Buck Rising show comes up next. That is not what that was. That was a national championship team flexing its muscles against a Tennessee team that was an inferior opponent.
Not ready for it. No.
They didn't need any help losing that game. Tennessee did not try to lose that game. They just lost it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Facts.
No, that was it on
And
that
Austin Price said on the show yesterday that he had not heard the contract negotiation thing before the playoff game himself.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of different people with information on that. And I'm not saying anybody is right or wrong that's on the record about it. I just think depending on who you talk to, you're going to get a different version of a lot. And considering all that's happened, I believe any and all of it has some truth to it, for sure. Did Nico go to the coaches and ask for more money before the playoff game? That would surprise me. Did somebody maybe at some point try to ask for more money before the playoff game? Probably. You can dictate that on, you can decide what that means if you want to. So, Rory McIlroy, before the playoff hole at Augusta, did you guys see what his caddy told him?
No.
Before the playoff hole. Great stuff. His lifelong friend and caddy had this to say per Rory.
How did you regroup after missing the putt on 18?
After scoring, Harry and I were walking to the golf cart to bring us back to the 18th tee, and he said to me, "Well, pal, we would have taken this on Monday morning." I'm like, "Yep, absolutely, we would have." So, that was an easy reset. He basically said to me, "Look, you would have given your right arm to be in a playoff at the start of the week." So that sort of reframed it a little bit for me. And again, I just kept telling myself, just make the same swing you made in regulation. And I had a great drive up there, and and the rest is history.
Harry Diamond, his caddy, the real MVP. I love that.
So
Best man in his wedding.
That was you're supposed to hate somebody just because you hate them person. I didn't realize Rory was that disliked.
I'm not on that vote. So
I'm not either.
I heard a lot of it this week. I was just like, well, he's fine to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never had that.
No, he's such a tool. I was just like, whoa, hey, I just like this game today. It was awesome.
I've always rooted for him. I mean, he's had some controversial moments, I think, because he stood up for certain things
He's a
with
mean guy.
the PGA, but
yeah, I know.
I don't know.
It was weird. That was one of the scenarios. Another one was close to the scene. I can't really say, but that one, Rory's was just like, dang.
I don't love him as a Ryder Cup opponent.
Yeah, I get that
I think
part.
he sometimes gets a little too boisterous, but don't we all?
Oh, we can all hate him for that. Like,
I think he crosses a line every now and then, but
Right.
he also admits it after the fact sometimes too.
For sure.
I do like Rory.
I do too.
I was so glad he won that.
I
on
was
Sunday.
too.
So good.
Yeah. That's a great advice from a scatty, by the way. Not trying to keep it too heated in the
straight up.
moment, you know?
That's probably helped him calm down. It's like, you
Yeah.
got beg for this on Monday.
Exactly.
That's right.
That's facts.
That is our Tuesday morning. Coming up tomorrow at 8 a.m., Stephen Godfrey in studio talking college football. At 9 a.m., Rhett Bryan. We will scout offensive linemen with him of the NFL draft. Our final position we have not yet covered with Rhett, leading forward to draft coverage in 9 days.
Gosh.
Courtesy of Titans Radio. Finally. God.
Finally here.
Ramon Foster, send us home.
Y'all know how it goes, good people. Your Twitter fingers and your mic is always hot.